It's showtime.
Normally, Carl would be on the Hall Financial Hotline, of course, but because of these possibilities, Zoom has brought us Carl. We can see Carl in his... Is that your basement, Carl?
It is.
It is.
A wood-paneled basement. Nice.
Did you know Lollapalooza started this weekend?
I had no idea. I'm totally out of the loop.
Do you care that Lollapalooza is starting this weekend?
I like a lot of those bands.
Are you going to sit around your...
It,
yeah, I was going to say, you're going to sit around your computer and watch it?
No, probably not.
Wait,
I like going to live shows. It's way more fun than watching your computer.
And Carl, you like going to a lot of live comedy, too, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Well, you know, you've reviewed The Fighter and the Kid on Who Are These Podcasts. You've reviewed Chris... Is it D'Elia? Is that how you say his name?
Who cares? Yeah, D'Elia.
Not terribly favorably, but I just wondered, do you know what's going on with Chris D'Elia? Because you do keep up with the comedy world.
Yeah, did you see that he got his show canceled? Which the guy from Fighter and the Kid was going to be on, Brian Callen. They were going to do a show called Pranksters or some kind of prank show.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great one.
Yeah, I think. I mean, isn't just about everything about him canceled? He hasn't done his podcast, I don't believe, since that happened.
Yeah, Chris D'Elia has been canceled from life. It sucks. I don't like Chris D'Elia. I don't think he's funny, but it's crazy that people just put out tweets and then people lose their livelihoods over it.
Yeah, it seems like there should be a better system. Although it didn't sound good. I didn't really like what I was reading. It sounded really creepy. But I bet you there's a lot of other creepy people just like him who are floating along, you know, young comedians, rock stars, that like young girls, 16-year-old, 17-year-old. I think it's kind of a...
Yeah.
Who was I reading about? Iggy Pop was saying he was with Lori Maddox when she was 13 or something. I'm like,
oh, jeez.
Yeah, Bowie did the same thing.
Yeah,
Bill
Bowie.
Wyman.
Mm-hmm. Quite a bit of that.
There's people in the royal family, and this is well documented, that famous people like young girls.
Famous people like young girls. Yeah. Interesting.
And don't forget that some radio DJs like Mark Parento, they like little boys. So.
Mark,
sorry, Trudy.
Parento.
The second day.
Yes, he did. Hey, speaking of DJs, last night people were sending me stuff about, I guess there was a story about Spotify talking to Howard Stern.
Yeah.
And you were talking about a rumor that Netflix is hot and heavy with Howard Stern. And I wonder, is there any betting lines on this yet? Or do we know, when does this contract, it's up pretty soon, isn't it?
Up in December.
Yeah.
You hear anything, Carl?
I don't know anything about Spotify, but that makes a lot of sense, too. Of course, Howard's a brilliant negotiator, or at least his agent is.
He is.
And the thing you want to do when you're negotiating is get multiple parties involved. So if he's going to get another $400 million for a 5-year contract where he works 2 days a week, it's a good idea to get Netflix and Spotify both involved, along with SiriusXM.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
He has really played his cards masterfully, as evidenced by his, $90 million a year I think he makes? Pretty good.
Sweet.
Okay, so we were talking about the Rob Lowe podcast because it just came flying out, and I knew, and you knew, it would be huge because he's a big name, and he doesn't have to do anything but talk to his friends, and it'll do big numbers. And in fact, it's ranked in the top 50, isn't it?
A couple of weeks ago, it was number 27 on Apple Podcasts. I looked today, and it's down to 40. But that's very impressive.
That gives me hope, though. Podcasts. Maybe he can pass us going the other way if he keeps going down. Oh, there's some other people. I thought Justin, who's the actor? Justin Long?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he would have passed us going backwards now because we're around 125, 110, somewhere in there. And he still seems to be in the top 75 and occasionally higher. So, I guess these names really can work for these people for a long time.
Well, this is the thing. So there's too many of these shows where it's a celebrity who's bored because they don't have anything to do. Mm-hmm. So they just start talking to their friends and they call it a podcast. And you pointed this out brilliantly. These people have no business podcasting. They don't know what they're doing. And what's interesting is if you look at the Apple rankings, these people are in the mix. They're high up. Spotify, Rob Lowe's not even in the top 200 on Spotify. I think you have a very different audience. I think the iTunes, the people who are into the Apple stuff are a little less sophisticated. They just see a name they like and they're like, oh, I'll listen to that. Whereas Spotify is probably more like the real podcast listeners.
Is that a fact?
Into this genre.
And these are people, the people at Spotify, are most of them on iTunes or are a lot of them exclusive to Spotify?
That's a good question. Now, Spotify is starting to make them exclusive now.
Interesting.
So that's a good point.
Well, I tell you, this is a great world to be in for us and for Who Are These Podcasts. It's just growing. I remember 2016. You started in 2016 too, didn't you, Carl? Yeah, it was like, is this going to work? Are there enough people? And sure enough, people are just coming to the world of podcasting. So, and I think it's one of the reasons why your show does very well is because people are intrigued with podcasts, and there's so many to know about. But where do you want to start with Rob Lowe?
All right. So I want to talk about, he's talking to Chris Pratt. This is his first episode. Now, he banked a bunch of episodes, so he's just putting them out slowly. I don't know when he recorded them, if it's in the same order as when he's putting them out. Probably not. Chris Pratt, one of the biggest Hollywood celebrities in the world right now, makes sense to be. Michelle Obama just came out with her podcast yesterday. Guess who her first guest was?
Oh,
Barack.
Yeah.
Pretty good way to get out of the gate.
Tough get.
Oh, I'm sure she has some really hard questions. I know it'll be huge, I'm sure.
Why wouldn't you play that card when you start to podcast fade, then bring Barack in?
I agree.
Good point.
I don't think people think they're going to pod fade, but Joe Biden sure pod faded fast.
Yeah, he did.
Wow, is that thing over? I bet he
that
just
thing
thought that
was
was the
a
biggest
production mess from the beginning, though, and somebody who's running for president should have had a pretty good producer or at least a staff that should say, hey, listen, the things you're putting out is crap. But he didn't get that right away because we went through 3, 4, 5 of his episodes and
terrible.
picked those apart.
By the way, I hear edits in Rob Lowe's podcast, which is pathetic. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah. It is highly produced. And I have the credits that we'll play a little bit later to show you how many people are involved in this mundane conversation between two people.
I've never heard of a podcast having a credits.
I haven't either.
That's interesting.
I mean, we honestly have more people involved in our show than almost anyone should.
I would agree, yeah.
But those people...
Shout out to Jim Bentley, by the way. That's my boy.
Yeah. Jimmy. Are you following Jim on Twitter?
Of course.
Has he done anything?
Is he trolling you?
Funny lately?
Now that he's got a different job, I haven't seen him do much trolling. Wait till he's past the
training stage.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well let's hear a clip of Rob
Jim.
Lowe.
Thank you.
And I will say this: the more I listened to the Rob Lowe podcast, the less I liked him.
Okay,
which is not a good thing.
That's a good point. I wanted to tell you guys, I do like Rob Lowe. I think he's a funny guy. I just don't think he should be podcasting, and I'll point out why. I'll have a couple of examples here that we can talk about.
All right.
So we're going to start with track number 2 over there. The setup here is that Rob's impressed that Chris Pratt has a haircut because here they are in LA. There's the lockdown. No one's getting haircuts. And Chris says his wife, Catherine, is the person who cut his hair. And it leads into this conversation, track 2.
Wait, who taught you? Did you go Google something? What happened?
Your wife taught me many, many years ago on your head when we were in Milan.
How to cut hair?
Yeah, she taught me.
That is riveting.
Whoa.
So this is interesting because he goes, how do you know how to cut hair? Your wife taught me when we were in Milan. I'm thinking, wait a second. So this sounds like either A, you should know that story, or B, you might want to dig into that. Wait, what did we do in Milan? What's going on? Sounds interesting. Maybe you can get into a conversation. The next question he asks is track 3.
So I was laughing about the fact that you and Catherine were watching St. Elmo's Fire together the other night.
It was on.
It's kind of a non sequitur. I like the fact that that's a terribly relatable story. That someone's wife taught someone how to cut hair in Milan, Italy, when they were there.
Right.
Terribly relatable.
They try to play out. They don't want to talk about how they're giant celebrities and multimillionaires. They try to just pretend like they're just Joe Q Public and just,
your movie just came on.
Guys talking.
It's crazy.
And now they're watching my movie that I'm in.
So this wasn't even a question. He goes, hey, I hear you're watching St. Elmo's Fire. It's like, let's make this about me immediately. He wants to make it about him.
Is that seems to be a trend, Carl, with celebrity podcasts, that it is all just about them and their work, because there's not much depth to a lot of celebrities.
No, they're not used to it not being about them. I have to tell you that the worst I've heard, and I don't know if have you listened to Chelsea Handler's podcast, Carl?
No. You couldn't pay me.
Really, you can't be paid for that? Because I was going to say, I think it'd be good for Who Are These Podcasts. Right. Everything comes back to her, and if it goes away from her, she quickly brings it back. I've never heard a case of whatever that is. It's the worst case I've ever heard.
Narcissism. It's called narcissism, Drew.
It's really bad. She has it bad. All right, so bring us some more Rob Lowe.
2 minutes talking about St. Elmo's Fire, a movie that is 35 years old, and it's just nonstop kissing ass. Chris Pratt says this is number 4.
That was the that movie really was made up of that generation. It defined that generation. There are movies like that happen every generation, and it's like that was that Brat Pack. But of that whole group of actors at the top of their game in that time,
who's gonna be the best?
You were the one with the most charisma, and it was just. I mean, everyone was great, obviously, but.
What an ass.
No way. Give me Emilio Estevez all day.
Didn't see that coming, though. What an ass kiss. This is great. They're both filleting each other on this podcast.
Yeah.
Celebrity
So
fellatio.
wouldn't you think that if you're Rob Lowe, you'd be like, oh, come on, whatever.
Yes.
It was a long time ago. Anyway, you're in this new movie. Something you would deflect and you would try to get a conversation going. Nope, this continues on. There's even more ass kissing, and Rob Lowe is lapping it up.
Oh, no.
Play track 5.
Physical attract. It was just an attraction. There's a charisma and attraction there. It was youth. It was like the beautiful youth personified. It was really cool.
Joel Schumacher, the director, was very kind to me with the close-ups.
No one told me there was going to be boasting.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's awful.
Bad.
I remember hearing that. When I listened to it, I was kind of stunned.
Do you think some of this is an effect of them having, their idea of an interview is, like Entertainment Tonight, talking to them, throwing them softballs to talk about their stupid work? Is that what it is?
Well, I don't think, Carl, correct me if you think I'm wrong, or Trudy or anybody. I don't think Rob Lowe is going to talk about rehab on this podcast, which would be interesting.
Wait a sec. He wrote a very good memoir. Remember his autobiography?
Yes.
He told a lot of good stories. But why can't he do that in the podcast version? Because does he think this is what an interview is supposed to be?
Well, he's not controlling it because there's another person, although Chris Pratt's not going to call him out. I don't think.
No, but I would think, seeing Rob Lowe and having read that book, that he'd be a little more, I don't know, he'd be able to talk about other things other than his work.
You want to talk about the sex tape or the nanny lawsuit? Or
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not that, but you would think there'd be more depth to him.
I would agree. I like Rob Lowe. I generally do. I mean, I feel kind of bad about this, but it's bad. Anyway, go ahead, Carl. What's next?
Yeah. So speaking of Rob Lowe being all about Rob Lowe, on track 8, he's talking about how he auditioned for Footloose. And I pulled this clip only because if I just play this in isolation, you would swear Rob Lowe was on the Chris Pratt podcast. Rob Lowe was just going on and on about his career. It makes no sense. Track 8.
And the casting was going to be coming up. And so I started taking all these dance auditions. And I'm not like really a dancer or anything, but, so they did a dance audition, not an acting audition, just a big dance audition at Paramount. I remember at a stage.
Whoa.
And all the actors auditioned together. And we all had to learn to dance to the Styx song, The Best of Times of all songs.
How's that go? What's that song?
The best of times. I don't remember anything other than that.
Wow. Didn't he dance at the beginning of the Oscars one year?
Rob Lowe?
Yeah. Wasn't there an Oscars and Emmys that opened with some stupid, I swear to God, I don't think I'm crazy here. There's also...
I don't remember his dance sequences.
No, I'm not really... it was only memorable because I think... Trudy, you remember that?
I think I do, yeah. I do remember he did music, like a series of musical.
Yeah, it was
synopsis of
You're right.
Shows.
You're absolutely right.
What an unrelatable story, though.
Who was writing?
Story. Chris Pratt is asking him questions now. It's completely flipped. He's going into this whole thing, this whole explanation. Oh yeah, then what happened? And then what happened? What's going on?
Did you bring any clips from him and Magic Johnson by chance?
I did not. I have some Gwyneth Paltrow.
Okay.
Well, the Gwyneth Paltrow one's getting a lot of play because of the little blowjob story.
Yeah. Magic Johnson is positively horrible. It's just them yucking it up about the old days when, Rob was making sex tapes and Magic was getting AIDS. And I mean, they don't really get into that, but, or Magic attained
Magic Johnson. What has he done?
All right. So you want to bring us some Gwyneth and Robbie?
Yeah. So this is funny because first question out of the gate if you play track 15, now I've already shown that Rob likes to make things about him. This is his first question to Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, man, I kind of I wonder what it is. It's going to be something about, is it going to be, hey, what was your favorite movie that I was in? All right, here it is.
How long have I known you?
How long have I known you?
How long have I known you?
Why are you asking someone how long you've known them?
Right.
But
it does. A normal person would say, how long have we known each
other? Yeah.
It does.
How long have we known each other? Like, then you can have a conversation. Oh, remember we met, blah, blah, blah. He's like, how long have you known me?
Yeah.
I think there could be a strategy, though. Doesn't set him
How long
up
have I known you?
as the far more important person, because, you know, he would have no idea how long they've known each other, but she would have actually recorded it in her mind because she's less important than him.
She's his guest, though.
I know. I'm not saying it makes sense.
Carl, how long have I known you? You see how awkward that is?
It's really
a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Whew.
He is good looking, though. You have to give him that.
He is. No, he absolutely is. It has been all about him.
Whose boss is a drug addict, and he would ask him questions like, "Do I know that guy over there?" I'm like, "Oh, am I supposed to know who you know? I don't know."
That's great.
All right, so she answers that question, and that leads to her explaining how cool Rob is, which is what Rob wanted to have happen. Track 16.
Because, you know, Rob Lowe in the 90s was a dangerous and scintillating proposition.
Guess what he named this podcast episode? Dangerous and Scintillating.
Of course.
Which is descriptions of him on a show that's supposed to be about Gwyneth Paltrow.
Wow.
I'm
surprised at how bad Rob Lowe is at this.
I was too. Did you listen to one of his podcasts?
No. You would think he would have a host, and he would be a co-host, maybe?
Well, you know, a lot of these people honestly could use a host, which is kind of sad because it just brings in another body who probably to be paid. And isn't a podcast just an easy way to make a couple $100,000 for these guys?
Yeah. By the way, the first thing out of the gate, episode 1 is a State Farm read.
Oh, really?
What podcast is getting State Farm on their shows? I mean, that's got to be a huge deal, I would imagine.
Yeah. No, national deals, I'm sure they are. And
on his first show, I'd love to see the return on that investment.
So that's negotiated. He's never done an episode, and he's got a national buy.
Does Rob have a promo code? It's like statefarm.com, enter promo code Rob.
Scintillating.
Yeah, scintillating. No, the promo code would be his name. His full name, Rob Lowe.
I'm willing to bet there's no promo code. We have local people who've known us for 25 years, and we have promo codes. Crying out loud.
There's no promo.
I'd love
Actually,
to know.
No, we don't have promo codes with our local people.
I would just love to know how much they got back for what they spent on Rob Lowe's podcast.
Well, there's a lot of listeners. I mean, there certainly are a lot of people listening to this. So, you got to give
that's
them
true. Yeah.
Okay. Anything more from Rob Lowe?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead,
I want to
please.
play a segment that I call Leading the Witness as well as a dumb question. This is track 6.
6, all right.
What was your favorite movie and TV show growing up? Were you like a $6 Million Man guy like me?
Like me? Why don't you just say, I love $6 Million Man when I grew up?
So I want to explain something. Chris Pratt is about my age. $6 Million Man wasn't even on television by the time Chris Pratt was born. I don't know why you would assume. Chris Pratt's probably into the A-Team. That's what our generation like. Not the $6 Million Man.
Or the Dukes, man. Come on.
Yeah, Dukes ahead.
So then he answers the question. This is going to be track 7. And Rob Lowe interrupts it to make it about him again.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
For television, a lot of after-school specials.
Oh, whoa, stop there. Have you seen my after-school specials?
I don't. Maybe.
God.
I can't make this up.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
He's so less attractive now after hearing all this. Man, he's hung up on himself.
Rudy, he then goes on to explain the entire plot of the after-school special he was on in 1982.
Oh, my God.
What was it
Just
about?
to make sure Chris Pratt has seen it.
What was it about, Carl? I forgot.
Yeah, he was a 15-year-old in high school who got a girl pregnant.
Oh, well.
It was probably a true story then.
Yeah, art imitating life. Although she was 15 and he was what, 30?
Well, in 86, I think he was like 22 and the girl was 16, I think. God, that was such a big scandal.
And he got over it.
Yeah.
He got over it really well. That's what's insane about it. Would he be canceled forever today?
Yeah, now you'd be pretty. I think that'd be pretty bad. Plus, we'd see the video.
Well, we've seen the video.
Yeah.
It was kind of dark, wasn't it?
Yeah, not the best video.
All right. Well, Rob, great job. Okay.
I got a couple more clips.
Okay, bring it.
I think we got to get to. So
yeah, wrap it up.
He starts off by selling us on this podcast we're about to listen to. And I'm always suspicious when the host tells me how amazing everything is all the time. Like, why are you selling this so hard? Play track one.
I'm laughing at the title of this track is Amazing Journey. Which almost sounds
like The Bachelor.
The Bachelor, yeah.
This has just been an amazing new journey for me. This podcasting thing.
What pablum? That's just nothing. That's nothing.
I want to point out he calls this a journey. He's having conversations with his celebrity friends. Drew went from a high-profile radio gig to rebuilding from scratch an entire podcast network. He might be able to call this a journey. He might be actually justified in saying a journey. This guy's put out one episode. He's like, this has been an amazing journey.
You wonder how amazing it's really been for him, too.
You know, I hear this in a lot of people like Rob Lowe do podcasts. At first, they're a little nervous, and then they get so full of themselves so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first episode. It's incredible. He's just loving it because I think they're so used to reading a script and reading someone else's words and looking good and depending on those things. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is on me. But they're so full of themselves that they can't help but think, oh, wow, Me Unleashed is just fantastic.
Carl, how many episodes
I can't get enough of me.
How many total episodes has he done?
I think he's up to 6 now.
6.
Oh.
And by the way, as soon as Hollywood reopens, this will end.
Yeah.
This is just something for them to do because they're bored out of their minds.
That's a great point, yeah.
What other guests is he
Why
had?
can't they help people? That's what I'm wondering.
Help people? No, they need to make money.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
What do you think?
Crazy.
It's not even about the money. They just need the exposure. They have to be out there promoting themselves and being heard. They're so important. So after the podcast, he talks about how much fun it was. So he told us it was going to be amazing. He told us it was going to be fun. And then track 12, he tells us it was fun.
Oh, it was so fun. This podcast thing's kind of fun. I'm kind of liking it.
Of course you liked it. You talk about how awesome you are and then tell your guests to tell you how awesome you are. That is fun. I agree.
And he doesn't have to worry about the sponsors. That's all done ahead of time. Somebody else deals with that. He probably barely knows who the sponsors are.
That to me kind of sounds like an awkward transition. Like he doesn't know what to say or where he's going. Like just to say something is so fun because you're kind of searching for the next thing.
Have you read the description of this podcast online? Have you read it? The way he's published it. So whenever you go to Apple, whenever you go to whatever podcast dealio that you use, you know, I don't even think we've even changed ours, so we don't have much to say. But it says here, literally with Rob Lowe, this is literally a podcast where people I love, admire, and know well will be in a safe space to really let their hair down, assuming they have any. I will cover the thoughtful to the extremely random. So join me, my guests, and the world of movies, TV, sports, music, and culture for fun, wide-ranging, and freewheeling conversations.
About Rob Lowe.
Pretty much.
About
literally.
Rob Lowe.
Oh. So
that was his
you read
catchphrase.
that because they have nothing to say. It's so boring. It's so vanilla. My track 11 is maybe the most boring thing anyone's ever said on a podcast.
Sometimes I'll watch a great movie and I'll know instantly it's great. Oh my God. And then there are times where I'll watch a movie and go, I love this movie so much, but not realize it's great and not realize that I'm watching a movie that from now on, if I ever come across it on TV, I'm going to have to fucking watch the whole thing.
What?
Sometimes he watches movies that are great, that he knows that are great, but he didn't know they were that great until later on.
Oh my God. What a dipshit.
That's really weird. And now, did you have some credits? Did you say? I want to hear the credits. I'm dying to hear the credits.
The credits are amazing. Track 14. Listen to how many people, count how many people it takes to create this show.
I think it's the longest clip Carl sent over.
Really?
You have been listening to Literally with Rob Lowe.
Literally.
Produced and engineered by me, Devin Torrey Bryant. Executive produced by Rob Lowe for Low Profile. Adam Sachs and Jeff Ross at Team Coco. And Colin Anderson and Chris Bannon at Stitcher. The supervising producer is Aaron Blair. Talent producer, Jennifer Samples. Please rate and review this show on Apple Podcasts. And remember to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
That's 9 people.
Full disclosure, I know Aaron Blair.
Which one was he?
He's worked for Conan, and he's now in charge. He did all his digital stuff. He's from Ann Arbor.
He does the video game stuff.
He does the video game stuff
with Conan.
Yeah,
It's a good bit.
Yeah, I didn't know that Rob was part of the Conan O'Brien thing. I guess that makes sense because they're such buddies. But Conan knows how to talk to people.
It also makes sense when you look up the lineup. This looks like another one, and Carl has pointed this out over and over again. Where, let's see, he's had Chris Pratt, Magic Johnson, Conan O'Brien, Keegan-Michael Key, and Gwyneth Paltrow, Mike Myers. So essentially, when these people want to have Rob Lowe on there, it's kind of like a trade thing. They go, I'll go on yours, you go on mine.
Yeah. Have you listened to the one he does with Conan by any chance, Carl?
I have not. Conan's interesting. He'll probably make it good.
That's what it's really going to be more like Rob being on Conan's podcast. I'm going to guess.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I just have one more thing that I want to play from this podcast, and we can move on.
Bring it.
I picked up on something. There's a lack of vocabulary, and there's certain words that he uses quite a bit. Now, this is a supercut from one episode that's about 45 minutes worth of talking. Almost everything they talk about is either fun, funny, or amazing. Track 0.
Oh, Track 0. Where's Track 0? Okay, here it is.
Amazing, fun.
Funny.
Fun.
It was really fun. Amazing. It was fun to watch. It was fun to be a part of.
Amazing.
Funny, fun.
Funny, fun. Amazing. Fun. Amazing.
One of the things Carl and Who Are These Podcasts does really well are these cuts of crutch words that people say all the time. How quick into an episode do you realize that, this person has a crutch and that they say this word and you're going to go back and pull them all? Do you realize that?
Sometimes it doesn't hit me until the very end, and then I'm like, fuck, I got to go back. I got to go back and listen to the whole thing again.
I was laughing.
That's a lot of work.
Listening to the last episode with Brett Hatley, and it was, or Brett, I don't know.
Brent, I think.
And I think it's the guy that might do it with him, Jeff. But what did he keep talking? He kept talking about Maker's Mark. And there's a whole supercut of Maker's Mark. And it was weird. It was almost like he was plugging it.
Wait, Carl, you got into that, didn't you?
We talked about that because he was talking about
Bush Beer,
Maker's Mark, and then they were talking about drinking breast milk, which is so gross.
Oh, that was disgusting.
And they kept saying from the tap.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I want that from the tap. From the tap. I want to get that from the tap. So we got it. We heard it.
So, do they really think that is really extremely relatable? I mean, of course, if you're trying to be outrageous, it's one thing, but I mean, they're already swingers, so
I think he's trying to be outrageous. And having listened to that episode that Carl did, it's like Brent is way more Bubba than he ever was Howard. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would agree.
Just going for the over-the-top shock value.
Well,
I didn't hear.
Does that make sense? He used to have a show with a lot of naked girls on it, and it was a lot about sex. It's not like that at all.
That's different.
Anymore.
That's different. That I don't know. To me, it felt different that way than the way Bubba did it.
That's true.
By the way, I don't understand what's going on with Howard and Trudy. Pardon me here, but a lot of female guests that I just can't believe he's that interested in, like Natalie Maines.
Who are they? I might not be interested in them.
Katy Perry.
Katy
not
Perry,
interested.
Natalie Maines.
Not interested.
The girl. Oh God,
Katy Perry. She's been over. Why is he having Katy Perry on?
He just had her on. Yeah. And wait, another musician. He had Cardi B on.
It's funny.
Actually, she was maybe the best of a lot of them, but it seemed to me, I remember reading that one of the complaints about Joe Rogan from the left is that his guests aren't inclusive at all, which I've never heard people say that about a show, because a show is a show. It's directed at a certain audience and whatnot. And I almost felt like Howard, like they're keeping track and they're trying to have the proper inclusive guest lineup.
That's weird.
It is weird to me because Natalie Maines could.
After Marcy Turk started as the executive producer of the show, which is going back to like 2009, right around the time Artie Lang left, somebody documented who the guests were, and it was 38 women and 2 guys. And one of the guys was Adam Carolla. Everyone else was no one a Howard Stern fan would want to listen to.
That's how I've felt a lot lately listening to the show. I just go on, I see the guests, and I go, no thanks. Artie Lang, by the way, where is Artie Lang? Do you seem to know a lot of these things, Carl?
Artie Lang is nowhere. I talked to Casey Armstrong, who's friends with him, and he hasn't heard from him. Like, nobody knows where this guy is.
That's scary.
He is totally disappeared.
I keep hearing that it's all good, that he's recovering, but he always puts out something. I mean, it's been since February, I think, that he's done a podcast. That's a long time. He's in quarantine. I mean, with the COVID, wouldn't you think he'd be doing something?
He hasn't even tweeted since early April, so that's why people...
Yeah, and when he did tweet, he goes, guys, it's just an anxiety thing. I'm working through it. It didn't make any sense. It's not Artie-like.
Doesn't sound good. Does not sound good. Okay, I'm going to just quickly mention a couple things, and we'll get back to Carl, because I do want to talk about Brent Hatley, who's been a big part of two very big shows, and he decided to do his own thing. We kicked it around a little bit the other day. But those of you who have signed up for Royal Oak Bucks by going to visit royaloak.com, and I guess you got the newsletter, and you got your $20, which is like a little credit card, go out and spend your money because they're ready. And almost everyone is involved in this. It's one of the great things about the participation. You can go to Blake Pizza. You can go to the Rock on 3rd, Yoga Shelter, 515. You can go to the Dirt Label, Desert Oasis, Ale Mary's, Tom's Oyster Bar. Any of those joints, Lily's, which I love. I love their mussels. All those places will take you Royal Oak Bucks. And then, of course, the Lyft ride is $10 off to go downtown and another $10 off going home. Just use GO2RO. Go to Royal Oak. And there's more money coming. If you didn't sign up and get any of it, it went $400,000 went like that. And there's more coming. So this program has worked really nicely. And there's also free parking if you want to drive. All their lots, all their garages are free parking through August. And we'll have more coming up on Arts Beats and Each, which, as Trudy mentioned, is canceled. But there's going to be some kind of a deal to try and help the artists, which I think is a great idea. And I wish more people were doing stuff like that. The Hall Financial Hotline I mentioned earlier, that's brought to you by David Hall and Hall Financial, who are working around the clock to help you save lots of money. And, man, they're really doing it because interest rates have just stayed so low. So if your interest rate is anywhere above like a 3.5 or you haven't refinanced in the last year, they think they can help you. So why not give them a chance by calling 248-308-5000. You might be able to skip a couple payments in addition to refinancing at a lower rate and saving tons of money. 1,700 5-star reviews from Hall Financial. Go to our webpage, click the link, and fill out the online form. They'll get back to you fast. Or go to davidhallmortgage.com/Drew and Mike. Lower payments, better options, more personal attention at Hall Financial, NMLS number 1467435. And I'll mention Adam, too. Our friends at Adam, who've been with us for a long, long time, go back to the Rift days. For nearly 30 years, Adam has been helping men just like you protect your rights and get the fair treatment in the court system that you deserve. Don't take a chance with your future. Go with the best. Adam has the knowledgeable, aggressive, experienced attorneys you want. Call Adam at 248-356-2326, 248-356-ADAM. And I hate to say it, but they have had a lot of business this year. Unfortunately, a lot of people are just around each other too much, and maybe it brings out some more problematic stuff. And so, fortunately, business has been good for Adam. Not that they necessarily were rooting for that, but if you need help, they're there. All right, so Brent Hatley.
That's fascinating. Please go on.
I did not
got
realize.
3 people with drops now.
I know.
Watch out.
This is brutal. I didn't realize that Brent was he fired? Did he leave Howard Stern? Do we know? He was executive producer, and all of a sudden, whoo, he's gone.
He says he left. The rumor is that he was let go. He had a meeting with HR. Apparently, he got into a fight with Michael Rappaport on the wrap-up show. Maybe a fist was thrown.
What?
And they decided to let him go. This is the rumor.
Wow.
Stupid.
They had a pretty big feud going on prior to this where I didn't know if it was, one of those on-air things or if it was legit, but they were really taking shots at each other with Brent going after the stalking allegations, or actually I think it's true. I think he got in trouble for stalking Rappaport in the past. So he was really hitting them with that stuff. And then likewise, obviously, Rappaport was hitting him pretty hard with, everybody bangs your wife. and they made songs battling each other, and it did sound like they were getting very upset with each other. So.
You know what else he said to Brent?
You're not charismatic.
You're not charismatic.
Wow.
This dude is fucking corny.
I love Rappaport.
I like Mike too. I don't know how you can win a battle when your wife is swinging and on air talking about what great sex she's having with other people besides you. It seems like that you're just destined to lose in any kind of snaps battle back and forth, right? I mean, that's pretty tough.
Rappaport, man, that guy's brutal.
Yeah, he's pretty good. So this relationship with he and his wife, I don't know why. I know it should be exciting because they're talking about sex with other people. It's something we all maybe just are interested in hearing about. But it got really old with me, and I just cringed every time I heard her voice. I just didn't like her because she had nothing to say, and I can't figure out how can she do a show with him.
Drew, I have an example that we actually put on our show if you want to.
Yeah, sure.
Up number 19. This is her talking about how sexy she is and how hot their sex is. And it's off-putting.
I do want to say this because when we were talking about that show the other day and we had pictures of her up, I'm like, well, she's not that.
She isn't
bad looking. Well, but then after listening to her these podcasts and that episode and the clips, she's one of the grossest human beings I've ever fucking heard in my life. Like, just disgusting. So here's the sex talk.
But
hot lingerie. Just put it that way.
God, so hot. So I open the door of this lingerie where there's like the bra is open and your boobs are just hanging out.
Cool.
And like they have matching thong and stuff. And we started having sex, and we didn't have sex except to sleep a few hours here and there for like a week.
Yeah.
I actually called out of work a few days so that I could be with Brent and have sex.
Poundings.
Their levels are all over the place too. It's driving me nuts.
I'm sorry. If he's in the sex, it's gross.
Yes.
And I thought she was talking about having sex with someone else. It's always unclear with her because she's a swinger and she loves talking about having sex with anybody.
That's disgusting.
She's not that hot. She's not that gross, but she's not that hot.
Carl, one of the clips, did you send us the thing about something being inflamed on her?
Oh, God, no.
Sorry, Trini. Did you send that one or no?
I on my board if you want to wait a minute.
Well, I'll just mention what she said. She said her pussy was inflamed and that she was even getting off on it more because she was being pounded so much that it was swollen.
Oh, when she was walking, she would get horny.
And Carl correctly pointed out, how does that even work? That doesn't make any sense. Like the anatomical.
I don't even want to know if it works. I really don't. I'm like, it's just gross.
Whatever.
What demographic does this serve? I'm curious because I'm not familiar with this podcast.
That's a great question.
I think it serves people who, I think this is my guess, is that Brett thinks, God, my swinging life, it's drawn all these people to Stern. I'm like 20% of the show now, so I should do my own show and make big money. And then I was on Bubba too, and so those people all know me, so I should be a huge draw. But the problem is he can't drive a show, and he sure can't drive it with this girl.
Yeah.
I was
He's
going
a
to say
one-trick
something
pony.
else.
It's the only thing they can have to talk about is swinging and sex. And as my co-host Andy pointed out, it's not even details about the sex. It's just that we are banging all day. Like, okay.
Congratulations.
Even if you're into like hot sex talk, it's not hot sex talk. In fact, it's annoying sex talk. If you play track 16, they still talk like they're on terrestrial radio for some reason.
Once we finished the first time, she was like, "Hey, you wanna fizz again?"
How long did she sizz your diz before you fizzed again?
Probably about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, she got it really,
rock hard.
Yeah.
So it was explained to me because I was like, why are they saying sizz, the diz, and fizz? Apparently, this is all Bubba talk. This is how Bubba used to talk on the show on terrestrial.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that. Do they talk about anything else? Do they talk about any entertainment, current events, pop culture? Howard?
You would think
Howard
would
true.
be
Yeah, that would draw some people.
Yeah.
No?
He talks about how he left the show and why he left the show, but I didn't hear anything else aside from them getting wasted and banging lots of people. That's all I heard.
Here's a clip that I pulled when they did the forecast.
It appears we're left with fog, and fog is a ground-based cloud, which means you can get some drizzle for snizzle. It can happen because it's coming out of the cloud.
I like the way they do that. Is it the way Bubba does forecasts?
How embarrassing.
That's not.
By the way, I did not say that their show was done. I think maybe you misunderstood, Drew, because we played a clip where Caitlin was saying we wanted to leave before Howard ended his contract because everyone would be out of radio and be 80 people looking for a job in radio.
Oh, okay.
Which didn't make any sense to me because I'm like, you're not even going into radio. You went to Twitch. So what do you think?
What do we have any idea what the success level is of this show on Twitch? Can we see the number of views or that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's a miserable failure.
It is. Okay. But you know why I thought it was over? I thought you said they took a week off so he could look for a radio job. Or were you kidding?
I was probably kidding. There is speculation that he had to find a 9-to-5 job because he wasn't able to pay his bills. But that could also have been just trolls fucking with him online. I don't know.
Oh, my. Well, I feel bad for him in a way. He's not the first guy to leave a show and decide that, I know how to do this. But it seems like if he was going to do that, he should have done it 15 years ago.
Well, he has to have some talent.
Sure he does. I'm sure he's obviously a great producer, and I'm sure he could do a great job for the right show.
But it doesn't seem like he learned. If anything's holding him down, it's that skank.
Yes.
Yeah. He's relying too much on that skank.
And I don't know that he's a great producer because, like you said, the levels are all over the place. From the time of impression, there's some basics.
I was thinking that, and then you said it. Just with the production value of the show is bad.
Terrible.
Fair enough.
Shockingly bad.
Wouldn't he have guest connections to have good guests on?
That was the funny part. The guy goes, "Are you ever going to go on Bubba's show?" He's like, "Well, I haven't been asked." Like, you can't get on Bubba's show. You worked for him for years. Can't even get on Bubba's. It's ridiculous.
But what about all the people who've come through the Stern Show and all the people who've come through Bubba's show? Wouldn't you think he'd have befriended some of those people? And they would come on his show?
A-listers now, so there's no way they're going on his show.
And the weird thing with Stern Show sometimes is when someone's gone, they're pretty much gone and sometimes never spoken of again. I mean, what happened to Scott the engineer? Where'd he go? He poof, disappeared.
Where's Scott the engineer?
I do know that Howard 101 is still playing bits that have, Brent's material on it, and but I think that'll get scaled back. Just like you don't often hear a lot of the stuff with
Artie,
Jackie the Joke Man, and occasionally you'll hear the Artie stuff. But I do think that they do a lot of edits now on their Howard 101 stuff, because I've even scrolled through Reddit where people are like, "Wait a minute, they took out this portion where they did an imitation," and it's like, it's one of those things. Clean it up, get it PC. Try not to cancel yourself.
Yeah, Brandon, they stopped talking about Artie. The guy was the most important part of the show for a decade. They pretended like he never existed. It wasn't until Sour Shoes did the spot on Artie impression they had to acknowledge that Artie had ever been on the show or that Artie Lake even exists. It's crazy how they just pretend that nothing ever happened.
I was really surprised that whole thing came out with, and not that I want Howard canceled, but just looking at what people have done to get just thrown out of the entertainment world. And that thing that came out, the Ted Danson impersonation and some of the other stuff, especially with the clip in the middle of the view of him saying, "Oh, no, I didn't say the N-word. He said the N-word." And it was a big thud. It was a big nothing. Isn't that kind of strange?
Maybe because he's grown and learned and has had 32 out of the 34
Well, so is everybody else who did that.
I know.
And that's where Marcy Turk comes in, too. She's damage control.
She's a level of protection.
But I also think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think Howard Stern's off the radar. I don't think he's a big celebrity anymore. I used to, with all of my friends going to band practice, we would talk about what Howard talked about that morning for 20 minutes every day. I don't have any friends who even listen to Howard Stern anymore. There's no one who can even relate to it.
Yeah, it's definitely a little different. Is the Whack Pack still part of the show? Because the Whack, that's the other thing I would think. People go, "Hey, you can't do that." Because these people
they're very much a part of the show. Despite COVID, they still get their calls in from them.
But he makes fun of their IQs and, I mean, all kinds of things I just would never think you could do.
Yeah, that's probably being phased down now.
It seems like it.
I think that the explanation for Howard, though, is that people listen for the 3-month period when they have a new car and then stop listening after that and wait till they have a new car again.
Good point. You're right.
I still listen. I still enjoy a lot of their bits. I love Richard and Sal. I think that those
the phony phone calls are really good.
Geniuses. I love their bits.
Brandon,
and
do you pay for Sirius? Do you pay for it?
I do.
You do? And I know you do, Drew.
Yeah,
do you, Carl?
I do, yeah. I still have the subscription, even though I don't use it very much.
Yeah.
Maybe what do you listen to on Sirius, Carl?
Oh, I have it because of Howard Stern, but now we just listen to Yacht Talk Radio and hang out cool. I love that station. By the way, Brandon, the other thing that's awesome on Howard Stern is the Alex Jones impression.
Yes,
that's funniest bit every single time.
He uses all the great
I was trying to think of that kid's
too.
name. He is super talented. He's in the room with Sal and Richard.
Yeah.
He nails it every time.
He does. I can tell you, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, whoever does that, I laugh my ass off with the ding, 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 ding. I don't know if you guys heard that.
No.
Yeah, it's Arnold basically blowing a load every 20 seconds during the interview.
Yeah, it's really good.
And you hear it's like the spittoon sound effect, that ding, 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 ding. It's really funny. That's very funny. I mean, no, there's still a lot of good things going on there.
Drew, I've been on way too long, so I apologize. I really want to talk about morning toast, though.
Please.
Is there any chance that we have time for that?
Yeah, let's do a little morning toast.
You guys were such fans of morning toast when you discovered WATP, and I haven't checked them out in a while, so I wanted to check back in. Now, if you remember, these are the two millennials, Jackie and Claudia, who have a YouTube show every weekday at 10:30
Good morning,
a.m.
millennials.
Yeah, that's the one. So I listened to the episode that came out yesterday. This is Wednesday's episode, and it gets off to a banging start, which is number 17.
These girls have incredible vocal fry, don't they?
The worst.
Good morning, millennials. Welcome back to the Morning Toast. Happy hump day. It looks like a hump day. It seems like a hump day, but it doesn't feel like a hump day because Theo is not here today, and that is on me. I apologize. I have things to do after the show and was unfortunately not able to bring my son to work today. But that is, the life of a mom. Like, things are up and down all the time.
Wait, what am I missing here, Carl? Does she really bring her kid onto the podcast?
All right, so can you guys guess what she's actually talking about there?
It's going to be a little puppy, isn't it?
Oh, it's not a kid. It's a fucking dog.
Theo's a dog. Yep,
Oh,
she's a mommy.
What a
and that's son.
What a cunt.
And she's apologizing.
I hate when people. I think
Canine, as they call. I call it a dog.
Brandon, are you, because you're a father like I am, are you insulted by that when people like her would say something? Because I'm kind of insulted because having a kid is really hard.
I'm not insulted by that because I had a dog prior to having a child.
What's harder, having a kid or a dog?
I kind of acted like that dog was my kid too, in a sense. I didn't take the dog to work or anything like that, but
you know what's great on a podcast?
Having brought my dog to work, my dogs, many days. There's no comparison. A kid is so much harder than a dog.
And
Come on, it's ridiculous. It's insulting.
You have never referred to it as your child. Oh, there's my child.
No. All right, let's hear some more of the morning toast.
You'll get a kick out of this one, Drew, because these people have been broadcasting for years. You would think
have
that
they really
would
that long?
Broadcasting. Yeah, they've been doing it a long time.
Okay.
So this is a transition fail. This is where you want to get to the next point and you try to transition it and just drop the ball completely. 18.
Childhood is really made would be better suited for adults.
Yes, I can say that about a lot of things, similar to camp, which is why we started Camp Toast.
Yeah, which we're not having this year, which is
a loss.
It's a loss. I've actually dreamed about it a few times.
Good dreams, man.
Good dreams. Good dreams.
Speaking of other good dreams, not really at all. Yesterday we filmed, I think, the funniest Patreon episode we've ever done.
Oh my God.
Wow. You're not in the promoter Patreon. Speaking of dreams, it has nothing to do with this. Go give us money on Patreon.
Speaking of, but not really. I mean, speaking of is a poor transition anyway, but we all fall into that
crutchy,
trap.
yeah.
Yeah, but not anyway. It doesn't make any sense.
This is still a high-rated show, isn't it?
They get 26,000 views an episode, something like that.
But aren't they? I thought they were like a top 200 Apple show.
You're right. That's a good point. I'm just looking at YouTube. They're in the top 200 on
easily.
iTunes as well.
Yeah.
Listen to that.
I don't know who likes that show. I mean, I probably could look at the reviews and people would probably rave about it, but it amazes me.
I am dying to know what Camp Toast is, though. So something worked in that clip. I need to know everything about Camp Toast now.
I have a little bit of an insight because I was reading through the comments because I'm like, who is listening to this or watching this and enjoying it? And the thing that people kept commenting on was, oh my gosh, this one bit was so funny. I laughed my ass off. It was so good. I couldn't even clip it because it's not interesting to listen to, but they're doing the advice part of the show, and they're reading these questions. And someone wrote in and said, my husband's been picking his nose and eating it. And the woman's like, oh my God, I can't even. And just her reaction, everyone was losing their minds over. So
over the
it doesn't
reaction.
take much to entertain these people.
Wow. God.
Play another clip, and I'll read a couple reviews.
Okay, Carl, can we play the Emmy nomination one? Because that was like the one I listened to when you sent over just to make sure that I received them all. And
This is so funny.
I really laughed at this because here you go.
Okay, outstanding lead actor in a drama series. Jason Bateman, Ozark. Sterling K. Brown, This Is Us. Steve Carell, The Morning Show.
First off, The Voice.
Oh, God.
The Voice. Just atrocious.
Ryan Cox, Succession. Billy Porter, Pose. Jeremy Strong, Succession.
I don't watch any of those shows, so I'm just going to go with Billy Porter because I would like to see him giving a speech as opposed to any of those other people.
That's a great reason.
I think so too, and the look he'll provide for us. It's multidimensional. The reasons why I think he should win.
Yeah,
beyond his performance, which I'm sure was great. I never saw it.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Wow.
That is just so 2020 where she wants the person to win who she would like to see give the speech because he'll probably say something very forward-thinking, very PC.
I think it's the most woke of the people nominated.
Yes. Which is kind of how I feel about awards now. Aren't we giving awards to people that everyone thinks should get awards, not as opposed to what's the best? Isn't that kind of where we're going?
Yes.
But she hasn't seen any of them.
I know.
That's
the
another
very
thing.
end of that clip is my favorite part of it because the yes-anding from Jackie, she goes, I'm sure it was great. I never saw it. I agree with you there. Wait, what are you agreeing with? That I'm sure it was great or that you never saw it?
It's multidimensional. The reasons why I think it should win.
Yeah.
Beyond his performance, which I'm sure was great. I never saw it.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
I never saw it. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Okay. I kind of want to try and talk like that. That's a hard voice.
Here's a couple reviews. Listen, I know I am hilarious, and these girls have me beat with their quick wit and banter. I'm a newish listener, and I LOL at every single episode when I have no clue what they're talking about, i.e. TV recaps of shows I don't watch. They also manage to be super tactful. Also managed super tactful in covering not so great topics, and for that, I double stan. I double stan? What does that mean?
Maybe it's an inside thing. That's what you're looking for in a discussion of a current event or something that's really hard to discuss is tact.
Maybe nowadays.
Is that really what the younger generation wants is tact when talking about, I don't know, Black Lives Matter or coronavirus?
Here's Becky, who's been listening to them for years and says, the more I listen to them, the more I realize they're kind of uninformed. 3 stars.
Thank you.
Stars.
I listen to work every day on my lunch break. Love all the premium content. Toast to the toast. I've been listening since the Morning Breath days. Oh, they were the Morning Breath at some point? Love the girls and their wit.
Performance, which I'm sure was great. I never saw it.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
My go-to lighthearted pod. Oh, here's a 1-star. Ooh, ouch. A perfect example of the stupidity you'll hear on this show is Claudia, who claims to be a #1 Taylor Swift stan.
That's fan. Like Stan from the Eminem song.
Oh, okay. Not have a single clue who Jack Antonoff is. The most recent episode, Claudia refers to him as a sound engineer. He's produced her last 4 albums. Please don't discuss.
Oh, my God.
Which I'm sure was great. I never saw it.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
I mean, I hate it and I love it at the same time. Only listen because of Bobby Bones. I followed Claudia on Instagram for a while, so it only seemed fitting. That said, the voices, I can't. But I do. I hate their voices, mainly Jackie's, but I can't stop listening. I don't know how to feel. What?
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Bobby Bones, there's another show you could review, Carl, on Who Are These Podcasts? Do you know who he is?
Who?
Bobby Bones.
Bobby Bones. I know Bobby Bones. Yeah.
He's like the biggest country guy.
He's country Seacrest.
He's like the Howard Stern of country, right? Yeah, Seacrest of country, you're right. And he won Dancing with the Stars. And all I know is I saw him ranked really high on iTunes one day. And I was like, who are all these people that get more people than us? And so I'm cynically listening. And it's very generic, very milquetoast, but whatever. He's 35 years old and he's a good looking guy. And I guess he's just the most.
That's what matters now.
It does matter.
Carl, can we please play number 19? Is there a setup for spray tan?
Well, I'll just say the woman who's talking is the overweight one, just so you know.
Also, maybe some of you are noticing I'm just like looking amazing. It's because I got a spray tan for the first time since February. And man, did it feel good. Like, usually you get naked in front of Anna who does our spray tans. It's like a little, like I'm naked, I was like, I couldn't get my robe off fast enough. I'm like, spray me. And it just felt amazing. And I missed, all the things I used to not like about spray tans. Like, oh, I can't, my sheets are stained. Like, I don't even care. I'm like living for the normalcy of it all.
Mm-hmm. And the smell.
Oh my God, that voice. Jeez.
By the way, this woman does not look good. Dr. Roach couldn't help this woman.
Oh, no.
Talk about how beautiful she is.
I pictured.
What spray do they have to use? What's her name? I want to see a picture of her. What's her name again?
That one is Claudia.
Okay.
I picture really thin girls who like run around a lot and are just burn off a lot of energy because they talk so fast. I never imagined there was an endomorph in that show.
Oh my God.
The woman Claudia is the one who claims to be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Remember we were baffled? Like, what kind of stand-up routine could she have?
She's the girl with no job, that's really where this started, isn't it? Wasn't that before the podcast? Because
their mom is Pamela Geller.
Who's that?
I don't even know who that
from
is.
The Louis C.K.? That way, no.
Existed.
Who's Pamela Geller?
Pamela Geller is this alt-right pundit. She's done a lot of stunts. Like she had that thing where they were drawing Prophet Muhammad down in Texas, and we're just asking for people to.
Where the guy did show up with a gun, right? That thing.
Yes.
Oh, great!
Wow.
I'd rather hear a podcast from her.
Yeah, I would too.
That sounds interesting.
Carl, does she tour and draw crowds when she does stand up?
Apparently, I mean, obviously not in the last 7 months, but when I was listening to her the last time we reviewed it, she was talking about, the show I did last Thursday was my best show, and these people in the audience were giving me high fives, and it sounded like she's got a whole thing going on.
These are venues that have significant audience? I mean, this is a real thing? It's really strange to me.
I wish I could explain it.
That is
I can't help you there.
Let's do one more morning toast cut, and then we'll move on.
It might be all of them, actually.
That, man.
Oh, is that it?
Keep it brief. Yeah,
we're done. Okay,
I leave
cool.
wanting more, Drew. It's what I do.
Wait, there is one really sexy clip left that he sent us.
Yeah, I mean, it was to the point where if I was cooking, he would come up and start lizzing my my beaver while I was cooking.
What adult uses the word beaver?
Yeah, we went backwards for the other podcast. Friends.
This is
Friends show.
And so I'd have to turn the burner off, and we'd do it, and then I'd finish cooking, and then while we were eating, this is the same meal.
Yeah.
While we were eating, I would start sizzing his diz.
What does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
Sucking his dick. Beef. Sucking his dick. SSD.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I couldn't get through a meal. His penis is so appetizing that she couldn't get through a meal.
Well, it was either Carl or it was your partner Andy that said something along the lines of, I think you have a problem when you can't keep food and sex separated. And I think Carl, you pointed out, was that problem mental illness? Such a good. And the best line of that episode, Carl, was when you called her boobs stupid.
Thank you, Mark.
Because her boobs are stupid. It's the perfect
Yeah, they
word
are kind of
for
stupid. I preferred that she was hot if she was in line at 7-Eleven. She would be hot. For a girl in line at 7-Eleven.
Thank you, Mel.
Andy's a good host, too. I like Andy.
You guys do a great job. The prep is phenomenal.
And who is on this week's Who Are These Podcasts?
This week we're doing the Cuckoldress Venus podcast.
Exciting.
Sounds fun.
This is a woman
what is
who
that?
tells guys who want to be cucks and just can't get their wives to do it. She explains to them how to do it. I'm excited about it.
Gross.
All right.
I can't wait to hear
More
that one.
gross sex.
Well, Carl, thank you so much, and we'll catch you the last Thursday next month if I can figure out which Thursday and date that is.
Now we figured this out. By the way, I really appreciate you having me on for this segment. I promise I will never call in from a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Great. Thanks, Carl.
All right. Thanks,
We'll see you
guys.
soon.
Thanks for having me.
I'll talk to you soon. We'll see.
Damn it.
God, he's great. He does a good job.
Yeah, I really liked the show this week on
Brett.
On Brett, yeah.
And I don't know Brett too. That's what made it even better.
Brent.
I didn't know Brent.
Brent.
Yeah,
Brent.
sorry.
Brent.
I'll never get that straight.
You
I don't
butt
want to
out.
get straight. Things are
They
getting
ruined
wild.
Rob Lowe and Chris Pratt for me, though. I thought they were hot guys, and I think there's.
But here's the thing: is Rob Lowe. This is a behavior that we see with so many of these things, and that's why it's so funny to see a guy like Carl. And what he does is, we see the Justin Longs, the Rob Lowe's, the Chris D'Elia's. They all do the same thing. It's all kind of that type of podcast where Topher Grace. I got money. I guess I'll just build something in my house.
Well, remember how upset I was because All Access had a big story about the new podcast by Busy Phillips.
Farting in the mosh pits of morning radio.
Yeah, Carl and I have been talking about Chelsea Handler's podcast for a while. And Carl, you finally helped yourself, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, I checked out. Life Will Be the Death of Me with Chelsea Handler.
Oh, boy. Okay, so Chelsea Handler, you and I started talking about this, and I said she has to be one of the most narcissistic podcast hosts there is, if not the most. And then I got talking about, well, God, there ought to be a list there of the most narcissistic podcast hosts. Do you have some favorites?
Wow.
As far as narcissism levels?
Yeah, I actually put together my top 10 list just from the shows that we've reviewed. Now we're up to 220.
That's a lot of shows.
So there's a lot of podcasts here.
And there's a lot of narcissism.
There's a ton. Well, I mean, starting a podcast.
Yes.
There's a lot of narcissism.
There
involved.
is. Sure. All right, we'll take it away.
All right, let me give you my top 10. Coming in at number 10 is Opie. And the reason why Opie is only 10 is because he has been taken down a couple of pegs.
Yeah.
But, really?
You can hear it in his voice, too.
You can hear it in his voice. He's lost his confidence. He's lost his swagger. But he's still on the list because he thinks that he can just go on Facebook Live and put that out as a podcast, just talking to people randomly on Facebook Live. He's not talented enough to do that, and he shouldn't be doing it, but he still does.
Does he get a lot of people to talk to, or does he just have to talk to whoever shows up there?
It's literally 100 people.
Yeah. Well, there's a problem.
Wait.
Yes.
So, Carl, does he invite people to come to a certain place and then...
No, what happens is he's got this Facebook group called the Pod Squad.
Okay.
So all the Pod Squad will get a notification when he goes live. And it's random. It's not like it's a scheduled time. And so whoever just happens to pop on at that time can chat with them and he'll answer questions. But he gets pissed. He gets pissed if you ask him about Opie and Anthony, but he'll answer your question.
That must be great in the beginning, too, when he probably sits there waiting for it to populate.
It's the worst. Oh, hey, I see Snowy's here. What's up, Snowy? Hey, it's Mark is here. Brett Dodd. Hey, what's up, Brett Dodd? He starts calling every single person individually as they come in.
I love that with any Instagram Live or Facebook Live. The second it starts, most of the beginning of it is just someone staring blankly at a camera, waiting for the people to populate.
Yeah.
Well, there were a lot of trolls, too, weren't there?
Well,
there must be trolls on that thing.
Opie gets trolls, and he gets really pissed off at them. But Stuttering John does the same format, and he has the most trolls, and it's so funny to watch because he gets so irritated.
Well, I can't wait to dig into Stuttering John one of these days. But anyway, let's roll through this list.
All right. Number 9, Perez Hilton, which Perez Hilton makes everything about him, which is funny because he's supposed to be a gossip columnist. Like his whole point is talking about other people, and yet now that he's a celebrity, he makes everything about him.
That's an awful show. I've heard it. Really bad.
It's really bad. There's a show called Let There Be Talk with a guy named Dean Del Rey. Dean Del Rey is actually Bill Burr's opener. He's a stand-up comedian. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him.
Oh, no, I haven't.
But we listened to his show, and it's unbelievable. Every guest he talks to, because he used to play rock music, and he does stand-up, so he makes everything about his performances and everything he's done. Like, no one's ever heard of you, dude. Who cares?
Have you guys reviewed him for Who Are These Podcasts?
We did, yeah. It's called Let There Be Talk.
I will check that out.
Number 7, Bert Kreischer. We just did 2 Bears,
should be higher.
1 Cave. Wow, maybe. We just did 2 Bears, 1 Cave this past week, the episode that just came out, and that's him with Tom Segura. And Bert Kreischer couldn't be more proud of himself. They literally ate peanut butter on their podcast. That was the content, them eating peanut butter.
I heard the show you reviewed for Bert, his own podcast, Carl. This was maybe a couple years ago, and you busted him like 3 times where his guest said, are you something happening on your phone? Because he was reading text messages or something. Oh, I'm just finishing typing this out. Hold on a second. It was like dead air while he finished responding to someone on the phone. It just seemed a little selfish.
And he's not embarrassed by that. And I think that screams narcissism.
Mm-hmm. But only number 7. So
only
who's
number
next?
7. We got some good ones in here.
Take it away.
Number 6 is Chris D'Elia. I think that goes without saying.
Yeah.
This guy came on his show completely unprepared, had nothing to talk about, and still did an hour just going, Family Guy, bro, Family Guy. What a great show, bro. Come on, man. Family Guy, come on, bro.
He is extinguished. I mean, he's pretty much
cooked.
It's over, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's done so.
Wow, that's brutal. Okay. Number 5.
Number 5 is a guy named Jack Brennan, and he is the host of a show called Disgraceland. Are you familiar with
I've heard of that.
Yes, I've heard it.
This show is bonkers. It's like a true crime rock and roll show. And what he does is he goes into famous stories of musicians, but he makes up everything. None of it actually happened. He's talking about what the guy was thinking while he was doing something, or two people alone in the room and what they were talking about. It's like, it's all just made up.
You know what?
I heard you talking about him with about Hendrix. He was making up stories about Jimi Hendrix. It's like,
I have to admit, I liked the show the first couple times. The more Disgracelands I heard, the more I thought, he's not doing any original. I mean, he's doing a bare minimum reporting, like maybe getting a couple things off Wikipedia and just making it sound real dramatic. And okay, I'm there with you all the way. Number 4.
He jumped the shark. I think he came out of the gate pretty hot and then got really full of himself, and it's just gone downhill.
Yeah, that show gets a lot of attention. I don't know why.
Number 4, Chelsea Handler, for reasons that we will get into in a moment.
Okay.
I have clips to prove this.
All right.
Number 3, Sophia Franklin, who you might know as the co-host on Call Her Daddy, who is no longer on Call Her Daddy.
Yeah. Well, her ego's been stroked a lot lately, too.
Is she the one that's left doing it, or the one that left?
No, she's the one who could not negotiate a deal with Barstool, and so they finally just said, we'll just do it without you. That's fine.
I think she made the wise choice, too, because that square-headed boyfriend of hers just got blown out at HBO, too.
Ooh,
yeah.
He did.
She turned down. They guaranteed her a nice chunk of change, too.
I know.
I mean, that was wild for somebody who had never really done much of anything. Now, so she's not doing anything?
Not that I know of. Yeah.
According to Dave Portnoy, the offer was $500,000 a year, plus after 3 years you can get out of this and you own all of your stuff, which is unheard of.
Yeah,
and he still was like, not good enough. Like, oh, okay.
Well, her partner, who is doing it alone now, or does she have someone new? Anybody know?
I think she's doing it alone, yeah.
She's still way up there. She's like top 5, so good for her.
I thought she'd be done as soon as she came back with a show where she talked about how she's not really a whore and it's all an act. I'm like, okay, well, this is over then. Bye-bye. But no, people are still listening.
I have noticed it took a long time, but Guys We Fucked has slowly moved down, as they apparently they need to fuck new guys or something. But it was really, I mean, top 5, top 10 for a long time, and then slowly, I notice it's drifting. So maybe Call Her Daddy probably, or whatever it's called, probably has a little ways to go. But I don't know. I think that's kind of a temporary thing, unless the host is truly inspiring, and maybe she is.
Well, I discovered that the audience for that show was not who I thought it was. I thought it was probably teenage boys. It's actually women 15 to 25.
Oh, those are the worst.
Really?
Yeah,
they are, man. They're causing all the problems in America.
The FSAs, the future sluts of America, are listening to that?
They are, man.
Yeah, I would think women would like that show. A certain type of woman would, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we now? What number?
Number 2 will surprise nobody, Mr. Rob Lowe. This guy made every question about him.
That was
It
bad.
was so ridiculous.
Amen.
It was almost an art form, though, making every question about him, how he did it.
It was impressive.
When did we meet?
No, he goes, when did you first meet me?
Even worse.
So bad. Okay, I'm trying to think, who would be number 1? Who is number 1, Carl?
Number 1 is number 1 by a long shot. This will not be debated. There is nothing to debate here. It's David Lee Roth.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
DLR. This guy is off the chart with narcissism.
Wow, wait. I was going to guess Alec Baldwin. Did you name him in your top 10, or is he number 11?
Alec Baldwin is pretentious, and he is narcissistic, but he didn't crack the top 10.
Okay. It's your list.
Yeah! Stuttering John.
I think I'm going to agree with you.
Top 10
all right, well,
because
let's just, Carl, launch into Chelsea Handler. Just take over.
Okay, here we go. Track number 1 kind of introduces what this show is and sums it up, and then we'll get into it from there.
So I just kind of want to take everybody through my journey of taking this book on the road, of talking to all the different people on the road who are going to interview me. I have all sorts of fun people. And I also have my psychiatrist, Dan Siegel, who will be coming on to talk with me about me, my problems, and potentially you and yours.
Is that some kind of...
But don't count on it.
Is that
right. Maybe it'll be something you can relate to. Probably not. It's about...
Is that weird to have your psychiatrist on? I mean, don't you think they might give you different advice knowing that they're going to have to talk about it later with you to an audience?
She's, to her credit, it probably works for her. I also heard the show. I don't know if you listen to the show, Carl, but there's one of the last shows she did, because her season is over, I believe, was, I think it was Mary McCormick, who's an actress, right?
Yeah, she played Howard Stern's
wife. Yeah. Mary McCormick is at, I think they're in public doing it live somewhere, and Mary is going through Chelsea's boyfriends and telling her, like, what went wrong with that relationship.
Oh, Lord.
I'm thinking, God, does Mary really want to do that? I mean, and Chelsea was delighted. She had a ball. But anyway, take it away, Carl.
I don't know why they're friends. Apparently, they're BFFs.
Oh, okay.
Her and Mary McCormick. In my track number 2, this is Mary explaining how difficult it is to be friends with Chelsea Handler.
Yeah, remember how you said that thing to that girl at that party? She had on a pink dress.
No, what?
And you said something like, "Oh, that's like I like your dress," and I was like, oh, right away I get nervous because I knew you don't like it. So right away my blood runs cold. Like I know the rest is coming. And she was like, "Oh, thanks." And she knew each other when you were young or whatever. And then you said something like, "Yeah, it's like summer whore or something," and then just walked away. And I know her, so I was left like, and she went, "God, that's so mean, huh?" And I was like, she's just trying to be funny. It's just her being funny. She just likes to make a joke and walk away. And she just was like,
Oh, that's so mean.
What in the hell are they talking about?
I don't think that was mic drop funny.
No.
I mean, if she just walked away because she makes a joke and walks away like a mic drop.
Yeah, cool.
Chelsea's just literally being an overt asshole to people and annoying them. And then her poor friend has to stand there and be like, "Oh, she didn't mean it. Sorry about that." She's like, damage control is what you have to do when you're Chelsea Handler's friend. Good time.
Boy. Yeah.
Let's talk about the reason why this podcast exists, because as you said, Drew, it just has a number of episodes. It came and it went. The whole point is to promote her new book. And it's very similar to David Lee Roth's podcast that was just promoting his Las Vegas residency. The only reason why this exists is to say, my book's amazing. You have to read my book. I'm going to have people on to talk to me about my book. Yeah! They're going to tell me how great my book is. And she's on a book tour during this. In number 3, this is again Mary McCormick talking about how amazing Chelsea's book is.
This book is as funny as all your other books, and then has all this other, it breaks your heart as well. I mean, it's really, I've talked to so many people who are like in tears reading it and then feel sort of healed after,
Wrong.
It's early the great book ever written.
Wow. Sad.
That is ridiculous.
I have to hand it to her in a way. The fact that, she does a podcast series about her book and her being interviewed about the book. I mean, it's so about her, and yet it works. I mean, people listen to it. That's pretty incredible.
And they buy the book.
Yeah. All she has to be is her all the time. So the joke's kind of on everyone else.
She even gets her psychiatrist, Dr. Dan Siegel, who is a well-known, reputable psychiatrist, to kiss her ass and compliment her book also. Play track 6.
First of all, that you're willing to be so open about what I think is a very courageous journey that you've been on in therapy. And from, what people are giving you feedback about, it's inspiring them.
I mean, I don't want to be cynical, but Chelsea Handler has a lot of money, right? Is her journey that relatable?
Of course not.
No, not at all.
I mean, you guys have listened to the podcast. I haven't listened to her podcast. I can't imagine how relatable that journey is.
I found myself just laughing hysterically because I just couldn't believe how unrelatable it was. And her therapist, after hearing, Mary talk about her, and, she makes this nasty joke to this innocent person and walks away, just a total bitch. As her therapist, I wouldn't feel like a very good therapist. I wouldn't want to be known as her therapist because I don't get the feeling that she's very other-directed at all.
Let me explain what the crux of all of this is, because this is the most fascinating part. Basically, what's happened is Chelsea has transformed from a complete asshole to someone who can tolerate other people, just like a normal person.
Well, I guess that's a journey of sort. Maybe more people need to take that journey. There's a lot of assholes out there.
It's unbelievable. It's like, look, I used to be a giant raging cunt, and now I'm normal. Like, oh, okay.
Most people usually have that journey, in their young 20s, and learn as they grow up to be an adult how to be an adult.
I don't hear this really nice Chelsea Handler at all. I mean, I never hear it. Never heard it, never hear it. But, wow. Is there a track for that one, Carl?
Track 7 is more about her psychiatrist explaining how amazing her book is.
And because your book is so clear and it's funny and it's really articulate and in so many ways brilliant.
Oh, boy.
Good God.
Couldn't they just put that on the back leaf of the book?
You know,
right.
You know what's weird with shows like ours? It doesn't work if people don't rag on each other. I mean, guys won't accept that. I mean, if we just sat around and said how great, I am or how great we all are, people would they'd be sickened by it. I don't know any successful guy shows that work that way.
Because people don't do that for real. You don't sit around with your buddies going, oh, man, remember that great time we had and you're wonderful and I love that thing you're working on now?
Oh, God, where'd you get that shirt?
I don't think friends do that. At least my friends don't.
No,
Give each other shit.
guys don't, but that's kind of what I was getting at. Are there women shows, Trudy? Do women hang out and rag on each other?
Yeah, we rag on each other all
behind each other's backs.
Nonstop. Yeah.
Is there a female podcast or show that does that? Because I feel like it'd be fun to listen to.
Women hate women.
I don't know. I'll get my gang together and we can do it.
I mean, it's just such an ass kiss fest with Chelsea.
Yeah.
Okay, so the therapist makes a really controversial appearance on the show, and
how amazing she is and how great her book is.
Keep it coming.
So she has her assistant on the show, Brandon, and Brandon is a 30-year-old gay man who is.
Of course, he's gay.
I would have just like.
Of course, he's gay.
That's a great name.
It's redundant to say he's gay, I think.
because of the name Brandon?
Redundant?
No, redundant because we know her assistant would be a gay guy.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
Which cut?
They are attached at the hip. He spends all day, every day with her. She can't live her life and function without her personal assistant. But like a narcissist would, she doesn't know anything about him. Play track 10.
We got the spicy nuggets.
We have no willpower. Well, I have no willpower, powder, and Brandon is from North Dakota, right?
South Dakota.
Right, like I said, one of the Dakotas. And so he eats this kind of shit all day long.
Oh, that's funny.
He was an intern on Chelsea lately. She's known this guy for over a decade. And they work together every day. Where are you from again?
I missed out, man.
I'll give her. I'm going to defend her a little bit. Who cares about North versus South Dakota? I mean, the fact that you remember Dakota is pretty good.
I did think that momentarily, and I agree with you, Mark. But if I was with someone for a long time, I probably would have asked them 20 times, but I think I would know.
You would
at that
hope.
point after that long.
Yeah.
And it fits.
So because Brandon's been on this journey along with Chelsea, she feels as though they've been on this journey together. And of course, she asked this question where they want to talk about it, track 11.
Oh, okay.
Why don't we talk about our journey, Brandon? Our journey together in the past 3 years. You've been witness to all of my changes and all of my self-discovery.
Let's talk about our journey. Where you see me get better and I'm amazing now.
Trudy, do you like Chelsea Handler? Did you ever like Chelsea Handler? I'm just wondering from some females' perspective here.
I did. I used to like when her show was really hip. There was a time, though, when everyone had to watch her show. I remember I would get mad, though, because somebody in the radio station would come in and disrupt all of my news by taping her show. So at that point, I turned against Chelsea. I tried reading one of her books. It was so bad and self-involved, even back then, like 3 books ago.
But do you remember having her on the show when her first big book came out?
I do.
My Horizontal Life. She was great.
Yeah, I thought she was good too. There was a time when I did kind of like her. I think I liked her. I was never crazy about the show, not because I didn't like her. I just didn't think she was that funny.
Yeah, she wasn't. But that was all before her journey, so maybe it's better now.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember who else was on the show? I just remember that guy Chewy.
Yeah, that's it.
Not funny.
No.
Not funny at all.
Joe Coy was on there all the time.
Joe Coy is pretty funny.
Good. Yeah, he's a good comedian. She broke a lot of comedians from that show. I
Did
never
she?
watched it.
Yeah.
One thing.
I didn't either. I mean, I tried to watch it, and I felt like I should watch it, but it just wasn't up to snuff, for me anyway. But it was on for a long time. She's a great success. I can't stop pointing that out because I just find her so unlikable.
I have a problem with her doing a podcast just to promote a book.
I know. What's disgraceful about it is that people listen to it.
Oh.
God damn it.
Does she have a bunch of advertisers, Carl?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yep. It's got advertising. It's on what is it, iHeartRadio?
Oh, okay.
So there's all the built-in advertising around that.
Do you remember offhand who advertises on it?
Yes. the VMAs, and now this is probably pushed in after the fact. She doesn't do live reads.
Uh-huh.
So this is probably just because I just downloaded it this past week. And so the VMA is advertising on there, which pisses me off because Cuomo has given a pass.
Yeah.
The celebrities don't have to have a 14-day grace period.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know what?
Oh, how nice.
Funny you bring that up. I have not heard that hardly anywhere that, you know, New York's got this really hardcore, if you're from X amount of states, you gotta sit it out. But unless you're performing at the VMAs, which, why do they need to be there? Why do they actually have to be on site to perform?
No, they don't. In fact, what are they? What is the crowd going to look like? Somebody in every sixth seat?
I don't think they're having an audience, are they?
They're just there live, just to be there live, as opposed to doing it the way everyone else is doing
Be
it.
on a stage. Mm-hmm.
I guess
that is kind of weird.
Nobody cares about MTV,
but it is a
anyway.
good buy. I mean, that's obviously a good advertiser to have, no question. And I'm sure I'm sure the podcast probably makes a lot of money. So I'm envious.
Sure. Grant on Facebook Live says she's brought to you by Monistat.
All right.
So Brandon lists all of Chelsea's recent accomplishments, and Chelsea is quick to correct him because he missed one, track 12.
That's a great name.
All right, well, back to kind of the last year. You released the book. You started in conversations.
Mhm.
You've gone into stand-up. You just had a documentary release.
I have this podcast.
Yeah, you had the podcast.
Oh, God.
We're on the podcast. We know. That's what we're listening to.
All right.
I didn't even know that existed.
How about maybe just a couple more Chelseas, and then let's move on. I got to do a break, and we'll come back with Baldwin, and we got, I think, a cut from Pauly Shore or two.
The worst part about this, I listened to the final episode, the conclusion episode, where they wrap it all up. And what's so amazing about this is that she's been having smoke blown up her ass now for weeks. That she's on this book tour, and everyone's Jake Tapper's on there, and
Jake
they have
Tapper's
Sean
on
Hayes.
there.
Yes.
Why is Jake Tapper on there?
Oh, Jake Tapper's interviewing her. Sean Hayes is interviewing her. Everyone's blowing smoke up her ass.
Oh, okay.
Most amazing book ever.
Okay.
So, of course, now she feels like she's actually not promoting herself, but giving back. Track 13.
So that's nice to hear. And I think the feedback in general from the book and the documentary has been really nice because it feels like I'm finally contributing something instead of just cashing a check for my own purposes.
Bullshit.
Oh, man.
Do you think she really believes that?
Yes.
Yeah,
You really
she
do?
does.
Yes.
I know, it's really strange. I don't know. I was so taken aback by her podcast, and I had to really kind of prod Carl to give it a listen. Didn't I, Carl? You really didn't want to listen to it.
I was not looking forward to it.
I
But
knew
then I started going through it. I was enjoying how pompous she was.
But I knew it'd be a good podcast for you. I just knew it. Yeah.
One more from Chelsea, because I just called this blowhard statement. She couldn't be more self-important in track 15.
I mean, that's where what I'm drawn to the most now is having conversations with real people about real issues and real ways to get involved, to do actionable things, to show up for other communities, not just your own.
What?
Does that mean anything?
No. No, it's a very generic, kind of benign call to action.
What are all these books about? Trudy, do you know what are her books about? I can't remember. I've seen them on the shelves. I hear they sell a ton of copies. What are people reading about that's so important?
Authority on her, but the one I read 2 pages of was about her traveling around the world. So, and she had a similar entourage, like, this podcast with all of her friends around her. So
She writes about sleeping her way to the top of show business. I think that's like her big thing, is that she slept with a lot of guys who got her into places where she was able to make a name for herself and obviously go on to fame and stardom.
Carl, did you hear the boyfriend podcast where Mary's running through her guys?
No, I didn't hear that.
It's real. I mean, it's amazing some of the more than unflattering things that are said about these people. I'm like, wow. I mean, you just said this guy's name. He's kind of some of them aren't exactly known to the world, and just these really, the kind of things that if a guy said about her, I'm sure she'd be livid. And included in the group, by the way, 50 Cent was banging her for a while.
Yeah. Do you think maybe he wants her to back off that?
I don't think he cares.
Okay.
That's a conquest.
That's kind of a funny story because that broke off because Chelsea was having a guest Wait, was her show still going then? I guess it was, because she said somehow she was becoming professionally entangled with somebody that 50 Cent used to bang. So he was warning her that, hey, I used to bang that chick that you're going to be interviewing or whatever. And Chelsea was so, I guess, upset by that or angry at that she's kind of told him to fuck off, and they never talked again.
Oh, really? Well, that's nice. That's lovely.
You want to hear them during happier times?
Sure.
Yeah.
Go, Charlotte. It's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. We're gonna sip Bacardi like it's your birthday. And you know we don't give a fudge that it's your birthday.
Just wrecking the song for me.
Farting in the mosh pits of morning radio.
Carl, take us, what do we got here? What do we got today? We got some cuts.
Well, you actually teased this on Sunday's show, talking about the juicy scoop with Heather McDonald.
Very good.
And the reason why you were excited about this is because she had Rachel Yucatel on. And Rachel is best known probably for being one of Tiger Woods' mistresses. But apparently, she's famous for a lot of reasons. And this was actually, a lot of this stuff was news to me when you were talking about it on Sunday.
Yeah, I was surprised that she somehow made 9/11 all about her. I mean, didn't it seem that she made it all about her?
Yeah, let's start off with, and I don't want to talk about Heather McDonald too much, but I do want to start off with her introducing her guest. And I call this clip, "Nice prep, Heather."
Yeah, was it your fiance or your husband who died in 9/11?
It was my fiance.
And there was just the very famous photo of you just in anguish after the horrible 9/11 on the cover of, I can't remember which magazine.
So
the New York
information
Post
is readily available on the first page of Google. When you Google her name, it's in the knowledge graph.
Thanks a lot, Bin Laden.
You can see that information. But what I thought was weird about that clip is that she's talking to her almost as if, remember how you got famous? It's almost like it was her first role in Hollywood or something. Don't we know you from the New York Post where you were crying about your fiance being killed? Yeah, that is how you know me.
One of the best days of my life.
That was pretty weird. She goes on to say that, I was on a picture in every cover of every newspaper in the world. I don't know if I agree with that.
So we talked about that on Sunday, and after the show, I started reading as much as I could. It seems like it was just the cover of the New York Post or the back page, whatever that was.
I never saw it until Tiger Woods put his meat in there.
Exactly. No, his meat.
I know.
God, Tiger!
Can I explain why I said that?
Yes, please.
TMZ today so ridiculous. TMZ was doing a story about Chris Evans' dick pic.
Yes.
And at the end, you know how they sometimes have someone comment?
Yeah.
The
stranger.
Darrell comments, and Darrell's like, yeah, Chris really got his meat all over it. And so I don't know why that's stuck, but I mean, how stupid. And Darrell.
I feel like Darrell has better command. I think he has better command of the word in that situation than you do.
If we were to watch Darrell, I think you would agree with me that I'm not sure what he added to the story. But we'll look at that later because Carl is taking us through the juicy scoop.
Where's the beef?
Around here.
Sorry.
So you mentioned that she's working for Bloomberg News. She's down in Manhattan. Her fiance, Andy, is in one of the towers, the second tower to get hit. He's on the 104th floor. If you play my track 5, she explains that even when the airplane hit the second tower, she still wasn't worried about it.
What?
When the second plane hit his tower, I immediately knew that it was under him because I could tell by, I was in the news business. You're smart. You get it. You know what's going on. And I could tell where everything was. And I thought he would go upstairs. Again, I really wasn't nervous.
What?
Who?
He wasn't nervous. Her fiance's in the building, just got hit by a plane. I'm in Rochester, New York. People were leaving the building that I was in. People were nervous everywhere. What is she talking about?
I take exception to the fact that she could tell what floor just by looking at the plane where it hit. Because didn't it hit on an angle and go through? Unless
it was pretty bad. But 104, I would assume, is above it. But still, I wouldn't want to be above that. I'd be losing my mind. Have any woman attached to any man who was above that point would have been shitting bricks.
Yeah.
But she wasn't worried, so good for her.
So this is where she makes the story about her. If you play my track 6, I think you were talking about this on Sunday, Drew.
long story short is very soon after, within minutes, I watched his tower fall, and everyone in the newsroom watched me watch Andy die.
So first off, I love that her watching her fiance die on 9/11 is a long story short. All right, so anyway, just to get to the point, can you imagine living on? That's how powerful banging Tiger Woods is. That story gets backburnered. Like, this isn't a big deal. We got better things to talk about. But yeah, my fiance was in one of the towers, and I watched it happen in real time. Anyway,
apparently, she also notices that everyone's watching her watch him die. So she's got amazing peripheral vision.
She's the star of her own story? Don't you think other people at Bloomberg would have friends and relatives in those towers that were also watching their friends perish?
That's what I was going to say. I wonder if they were watching her because maybe it was a little, I don't know, maybe she was a little,
Yeah, maybe she looked really good that day. I know what you mean.
Or she was maybe, I don't know.
Carl,
Are you more affected than other people? I don't know.
Are you going to get to the kiss that she didn't give him when she left the house?
Oh, no. Because she had her lipstick on.
Yeah. Were you shocked that she even told that part? I think she thought she was a victim again, and she wasn't the victim. He was the victim because he said, hey, give me a kiss goodbye. This is the last time she ever saw him. She said, I got my lipstick on. And so she was the bitch who wouldn't kiss him because she had her lipstick on. And then she tells the story like, I mean, I don't know why she told that story. I wouldn't tell that story.
Well, she did want to be the victim because she goes, and then the last thing I ever said to him was, don't kiss me, I'm wearing lipstick. And then I called him later that morning, and then we talked after the first plane hit, and then I was talking to him later. I'm like, okay, so that wasn't the last thing you ever said to this guy.
That's right.
I just wonder what, like, his family, maybe his parents, if they listen to this, what they
I hope they do, because
I don't know. Maybe they're on wonderful terms.
Maybe you're going to get to that.
Oh, I am going to get to that. They are not on good terms. But let's talk first about the fact that thankfully they were engaged when he died, track 7.
The fact that he proposed to me before he died is the one thing that gives me credibility in life. You know, like it makes me know that I'm lovable, that I deserve love because somebody like him chose me. And thank God that he proposed to me before he died instead of just that I was just his girlfriend. Do you know what I mean?
No,
that makes no sense.
I think she's married with kids now, right?
She's divorced with a daughter.
Okay, she's divorced.
She's been in a lot of relationships with a lot of people whose names you know.
See, Tiger Woods wasn't even that long ago. That's 11 years ago. Since Tiger Woods, she's married, has a kid, and is divorced.
And they nailed David Boring-Anus in between, right? Wasn't that after Tiger? I think it was after Tiger.
Tiger was jealous of him, though.
The guy from Bone.
Yeah.
And I wonder if how jealous. Well, Tiger was jealous of Jeter too, because Jeter was banging her when she met Tiger.
And Jeremy London.
That's right. That was that. Tiger Woods is very jealous of a lot of guys.
Yeah, he is.
He had 15 whores.
I know, but he's a goofy looking. I mean, I can see why he'd be jealous of Jeter. Jeter's a mass. I mean, look at Mariah Carey writes 2 songs about Jeter, and all she did was have a fling with him.
Are you saying
Jeter's doing something right?
So it sounds like you're into Derek Jeter more than Tiger Woods.
I just want to say.
Well, we know Jeter shaves his pubes. We learned that like 5 years ago, right?
It's quite obvious to me that Derek Jeter is a fabulous lover.
Well, remember that romantic moment he had with Mariah Carey on top of the building?
Yeah, there's a song.
She
about
escaped from Tommy Mottola.
Oh God!
And Sing. Sorry, go ahead.
All right.
We digress.
Next.
That's fine. So Rachel was really glad that they were engaged because obviously she was part of the family, but apparently she wasn't. And if you play my track 9, you'll hear more about this.
Oh.
You know, I had to move out of my apartment that I had with him. His family wasn't very good to me at all. And I think they blamed me for being on the phone with him and keeping him in the building. And
oh, my God.
Oh, God, that's so bad.
So I want to point something out here. She said, I had to move out of the apartment. Now, they were in an apartment in Manhattan together, and obviously she couldn't afford it anymore. Immediately she goes, the family wasn't good to me. Translation, I wanted them to pay for my apartment so I could continue to live there, and they didn't want to pay for my apartment.
That's weird.
You know,
that's weird, right?
Isn't it amazing how much it becomes about money, too, as it moves along? Because it turns out that if you're engaged to someone, that the family can then choose to give you money. But apparently
but it
they
comes
chose
out of their money.
What? No.
And she even says, she goes, they could have chosen to give me money because I was his fiance, and they chose not to. I'm like, that's a good decision. I'd rather keep the money too.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, let me ask you guys this, because honestly, I feel like in that situation, and it is tragic, and I do feel terrible for her, and I believe that she was upset. I do believe that, but would you expect to get money because your fiance died?
From the family?
No, from anyone. The family got it from. She meant that the family was getting it from the fund.
Oh, okay.
And they could have then given her some, but they didn't, because the money probably came 3 years later. And like, oh fuck, Rachel, you could tell that Tiger Woods whore.
I would hope. I would hope it'd be like one of the last things I would think about.
I would never expect to get money because a family member died.
Yeah.
Can I ask, how long had they been together?
3 years, I think.
3 years,
allegedly, according to her.
They got engaged in May, and of course that happened in September. So
it's such a weird story, and just the fact.
Guys, I have some really good news for you though, because she did get money from the Red Cross track 10.
The Red Cross gave me, I'm going to get the number wrong, but I want to say about $50,000. I was able to find enough money to literally go buy an apartment on the Upper West Side and like find some stability in this and like be okay and learn how to be on my own.
Oh, phew. She was able to get a place on the Upper West Side. For a second there, I thought she got to move to the Village or maybe Astoria, Queens. Oh, my God. Thank goodness.
Wait,
the Upper West Side?
For 50 grand? I got to question her
by the way, she says
finances.
She says she thinks it was wrong. No, you know how much the Red Cross gave you. It must have been more than that. If she says she doesn't remember, it's got to be more. It can't be less. You wouldn't exaggerate the amount.
No.
Oh, boy.
I mean, how unrelatable is that, though? Because she got a nice little place in the Upper West Side and 50 grand. And
the worst part of the story is for people.
The
worst part of the story is for people who've donated to the Red Cross to think that their money's going to Rachel Yucatel so she can get a place on the West Side.
As I said the other day, if they only knew that money went to her in that place on the Upper West Side, I don't know if they'd be too happy.
Well, plus, she was working for Bloomberg at the time, and she's like, and they let me take a month off. So she got a month off paid. She went down to Brazil to figure out who she was, and then came back and then worked for Bloomberg again. And then she got pulled out to Las Vegas to go run this club and be this VIP hostess. She lives a charmed life.
Yeah.
She does not want for anything.
Pretty charmed.
Honestly,
she is hot privilege, no doubt about that.
She did lose a fiance, and then
I agree.
The media coverage after Tiger, but once again, that's because of something she did.
I feel like, honestly, the media coverage after Tiger, wasn't that kind of good for her? I mean, it's Rachel. Everybody look at Rachel. And isn't that what she likes? I mean, she has an Instagram account. She posts really hot pictures on there.
Yeah.
If she really wanted to keep her profile, I don't want people knowing stuff about me. Would she really be posting those pictures?
You're 100% correct. And the best evidence for that is how often do we hear about that Perkins waitress that threw her tampon out the window? Like, nobody even knows who the fuck she is. She wasn't going out looking for attention, which I don't blame her.
Her silence.
I'm not always on my period.
If you go through Tiger's Who's Dated Who, I'm telling you, you go, wait, what? This girl? I mean, look at just the thumbnails of the women. You know?
Oh boy, that's some talent right there.
Oh, Lindsey
Vonn.
That's right.
Rachel Yucatel. I don't know, that is Kalika somebody. She's hot.
Jocelyn James.
Oh, Corey.
Oh, man.
I remember Corey wrist one off. Remember her?
That's right, yes.
Mindy Lawton, that's the Perkins waitress.
Ooh, that's
gross.
She looks like a Perkins waitress.
Looks like she's on her period.
You know what?
I want to talk about how she met Tiger Woods because I find this to be the most damning thing about Tiger. If you play track 13.
And so then where do you meet Tiger Woods?
Well, I first met Tiger Woods. I was dating Derek Jeter.
Oh.
And Tiger was sleeping over at Derek's house.
Okay.
And so he was
Ambien.
the guest in the guest bedroom. And he was just a buddy. And I remember he was smoking. We were opening up Derek's window, and he was smoking a cigar out the window or something. And we just became
nice
friendly.
guest.
So I fucked him.
Translation, Tiger was hitting on his buddy's girlfriend.
Yeah, in his buddy's house.
In his buddy's house, was letting him stay over. And he's like, hey, this chick's hot. Why don't you go over and smoke a cigar with me?
And if he's opening the window, obviously Derek Jeter doesn't want him smoking a cigar in his place.
No, but I don't feel too bad for Jeter because he was probably banging 3 chicks downstairs who were hotter.
Yeah,
True.
Tiger did him a favor.
That's probably true, but still.
That could well be. Yeah, he got Jeter leftovers.
I want to point out, what's the name of this show again that she did? This Hollywood.
Juicy Scoop. The Juicy Scoop with Heather McDonald.
I cannot tell the voices apart.
Yeah, I know.
That's tough. It's tough. I mean, if one wasn't asking questions, the other answering it.
They're from the same milieu, as you'd say.
Uh-huh.
So on my track 14, this is where we start to get into poor Rachel.
Oh, great.
She is such the victim of this.
And there are people that go through scandals like that are able to sort of slip out of it. And it's harder for a woman, I think. And, I deserve my own stand-up and cheer moment. Like Tiger gets to win awards and, or win his different tournaments, and he gets to come out of things and have mishaps and get up again, and people want to cheer for him. But, the women don't get that so much.
What? Does she not realize this was way worse for Tiger than it was for her? This was terrible for Tiger Woods. His career still hasn't recovered from this.
Well, her name has barely been mentioned in the last 10 years. And why is that? Well, I hate to put it this way, but wasn't she a receptacle for Tiger Woods? Wasn't she just a receptacle to deposit semen?
He was the one who was married. He was the one who was, the adulterer in this.
Why doesn't she go enter a fucking golf tournament and win it then? If she wants the accolades?
What does she need people cheering for her? Oh my God, your bottle service is incredible, Rachel!
Yes! They both say women always get the short end of the stick in these affairs because people are cheering for Tiger. Tiger's a professional athlete.
It's his job.
That's how you get people to cheer for you.
Yes.
I mean, she obviously gave him very good friction for his penis. That's something to be cheered.
What does she do now?
What happened?
Thanks, Mama.
There it is,
Mama
finally.
Woods. What does she do? What does you could tell? I feel like you've mentioned it, but I just don't remember.
He opened up a retail store for children's clothing in the Upper West Side of Manhattan.
Where her apartment is great.
Children.
Yeah,
she loves children. I bet she says that.
In the
she
Upper
did that
West
for a while, and then she stopped doing that. And right now, she's looking at maybe becoming a Real Housewife of New York.
Oh, great. Good. Give her an Emmy so she can have her award.
Oh, a Real Housewife of New York? Oh, yeah. God.
But she's not married.
Well, I think they'll make an exception for her.
No, I'm a stickler for the facts of reality shows.
Amen.
No, she didn't really break down the affair with Tiger too much, because she is signed up to be on an HBO docuseries about Tiger Woods' affair. So I'm sure that's a pretty good paycheck coming her way as well.
Yeah. That's going to be a good docuseries.
I'll watch it.
I'm definitely intrigued.
It's going to be 70 hours long.
Right?
If you talk to every girl.
Oh,
so
well,
again,
the docuseries, it's on Tiger?
Yeah, right?
Okay.
Yeah, not her. Who cares about her?
Yeah.
Well, unless they
still watch it.
Unless they have the footage of when her fiance died.
What the producers did is they went and they collected each time that you guys ran this at WRIF.
WRIF wishes Eldrick Tiger Woods and his lovely wife Elin the very best as they try to rekindle their love in private.
What happened?
In the meantime, let's hit the skank tote board.
Get it home!
Tiger's alleged extramarital affair total is now... The most
30?
recent receptacle is...
Rachel, you could tell.
Who earns her living as a professional...
whore.
Tiger's newest slut, on a scale of 1 to 10, rates a...
10.
Mother of God, check this hoe out. She's got the nicest...
body.
She fell hard for Tiger and finally remembers his...
wiener.
And Tiger thought enough of her to let her help empty his bag for a total of... 2 months. What a... Repeating, Tiger's alleged extramarital affair total is now... The newest
50.
dumpster is...
Rachel, you could tell.
And man, she's got a nice...
ass.
This has been a Tiger Skank Tote Board update.
Way to go, Tiger.
WRIF wishes Tiger and Elin the very best as they attempt to rekindle their love and future.
What happened?
That was the gift that wouldn't stop giving. There was a new girl. Wasn't there like every 2 days there was a new girl?
Yeah, there's very few stories where there's something new every day. Tiger was one, and it was right after Thanksgiving, right? Didn't it break over Thanksgiving? And another one was when Charlie Sheen was going nuts every day. It was on Dan Patrick's show every day. I mean, that was something
awesome.
new.
I think Tiger was more long-lasting, though, because Tiger... First of all, remember how angry he was at first? That, the media is being so mean to Elin. And the fact was, he was letting Elin hang out there to dry. She couldn't do anything, and Tiger's just sitting in there doing nothing, going nowhere, so no one can bother Tiger.
I know, after she saved his life, too. By breaking that window and pulling him out from the car.
I just, that story was incredible. It had everything in it. And then when all the sluts were done, then it was like, I'm going to sexual rehab for sex addiction. And
the
then, of
presser
course,
was huge.
I'm sorry I let everybody down.
Remember, the apology at the end, which was carried on every. Carl, did you see the apology?
Of course, I love that.
Who didn't see it? We stayed on till 11:30 that day and played the whole thing straight through, and it was just, who does that? Wasn't that just to keep the sponsors?
Yeah, and it worked.
It did.
It worked.
But I just remember
Yep,
his
a lot of
best.
them.
He had like 10 friends who flew in from around the country
To high-five him.
to hear the apology in person.
High-five him and go, bro, man, why did you?
You remember that, Tiger? Huh?
Why didn't we do this when I was hanging out with you, man?
I can't imagine being flown into a friend's apology and being like, Tiger, you really screwed up, man. I guess I'm going to forgive you, though. No, fuck no, you wouldn't do that. You go, hey, that was a hot bunch of chicks, man.
Let's
You're pretty good.
Let's hit a round of golf.
Film's a bitch anyway.
Tell us all about it. Yeah.
Tiger's mother, Kaltita.
All right, where are we at, Carl? Sorry.
Are we moving on to...
Get us back on track.
Yeah, where are we?
Hold on. Speaking of the media, I love that Rachel's always the victim, and it's always just happening to her, everything. If you play my track 15, she talks about this.
I was branded, really, as a victim, the victim. And then 10 years later, I was branded the villain.
Huh? What?
It's not the media. You were the victim when your fiance died in 9/11.
Yeah.
And then you were the adulteress when Tiger was sleeping with you in 2009. It has nothing to do with the media portrayal of you. That's just who you were at the time.
Contextually, she's not talking about being a victim in the Tiger Woods thing, is she? At all?
She says villain.
No, I know,
Villain.
but victim is applicable to 9/11.
Yeah.
Not when the Tiger Woods story broke, correct? Okay.
No, she's not talking about 2010 and 2020. She's talking about 2001 and 2010.
I got
and
you,
I think the media got it right.
Yeah, well.
Right. And so I have another example where she acts like everything happens to her. If you play my track 17.
And so I was at someone's wedding in Vegas, and they said, oh, you're glowing or whatever. I said, I'm pregnant. And they said, why don't you guys get married? So me, always up for an adventure, said, great idea. So we went and got our marriage certificate. What? We went and got married at the Little White Chapel.
So she didn't have any control over this. She was in Vegas. And so I was like, you guys should get married. She's like, oh, okay. And then she was married for 4 months. It didn't work out.
Is that where she got the baby?
No,
Yes.
she was already pregnant.
She's already pregnant.
Oh, I see. Okay, so she's knocked up.
That didn't work out well, did it? That didn't work out well at all, did it?
I guess she was the victim of the pregnancy, too.
Right. Everything just happens to her. She has no control over any of this stuff happening.
It's almost like she didn't think of getting married to that guy either until someone suggested it.
Right.
Does she not have a piercing voice, too?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So let's talk about Celebrity Rehab real quick.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Celebrity Rehab comes calling. And by the way, she did do Celebrity Rehab. She was out for 3 weeks, made $500,000.
What?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
What? For housing tigers. So she got paid basically probably, $100,000 every time she banged them.
So I thought this was really funny because they call her up and she says, I don't have any addictions. I don't know what you're talking about. How can I be on Celebrity Rehab? And they explain to her what her addiction is, track 16.
So they said, well, you're a love addict. And I said, love addict? That is so dumb. I don't even know what that means. So they were like, listen, will you just fly to LA and come talk to Dr. Drew? And I had seen Dr. Drew on TV, and I thought he was just the cutest thing ever. And I was like, well,
did she nail him?
Maybe.
So she's not a love addict. She's a star fucker.
Yeah.
And she just proved it right there.
That's right.
She's like, oh, there's a celebrity who wants to talk to me? All right, I'll get on an airplane. Let's do this.
Right. She's a star fucker.
So did she acknowledge that she made $500,000 for that?
She said it was like 400,000, but on Wikipedia it says 500,000.
Oh, well, she never knows how much money people are giving her, so it's really tough.
How embarrassing.
Money coming to her just happens like everything else.
A very privileged life.
So this is Starfucker confirmed, track 19. She has to do some more name dropping.
Also, I dated, I don't know if you know this about me, I dated Brett Boone, who's like a major baseball player. His brother is now the manager of the Yankees.
Ooh.
Aaron Boone. Anyways, doesn't matter. But I met him on Facebook. He just randomly
Bob
wrote
Boone,
me.
too.
She met on Matt
Facebook.
Altman, who's on Millionaire Listing. His brother
of
is
course.
Josh Altman.
Yes.
Met him on Facebook. He wrote me. We dated for a couple of months.
What? Oh my God! Do you know how many people are going to flood her Facebook Messenger to try and nail her?
Well, was that just
easy, guys?
That's just part of her resume that you couldn't stand not to be added to her visit there?
Brett Boone and the guy from I don't even know what the show was.
What was the show, Carl?
Some rehab celebrity, not rehab, but like house rehab thing. Is that what it was?
Yeah. It was some HGTV
Met him on
show.
Facebook. He just randomly wrote me. Matt Altman, who's on Millionaire Listing.
Oh, Matt Altman, Millionaire Listing.
Millionaire Listings, okay.
There's the guy from the show Bones that I think, I don't know if we were talking about
That's
that before the show.
Boreanaz, isn't it?
David Boring Anus. Yeah. I think that's how it's pronounced. What is a boring anus anyway?
Well, she is incredible, man. God, a shrink would just have a ball with this piece, wouldn't they?
She was sleeping with him while his wife was pregnant. And the reason why they broke up is because she gave birth, and she was all upset that he was with his wife while she gave birth.
Are you kidding
me? Did she say that on Juicy Scoop?
Yes!
She did? Oh, my God.
Are you fucking kidding me?
What, Carl, is that a cut, or can you paraphrase what she said?
Yeah. So basically she goes, he kept telling me that they were not having, they're having marital problems and they were going to break up. And then all of a sudden I see on TMZ that his wife gives birth and there he is in the photo. And I was like, what's up with that?
And this is post Tiger and Elin. You would think maybe she would have developed some sympathy for a wife, much less a pregnant one.
Oh, my.
He's always the villain, though.
Oh, poor Rachel.
She portrays her as the villain, that poor girl.
All right. Well, you know what I got to do? Just a quick break, and then Carl, can you give us about 3 minutes? Or we have some Dr. Phil cuts.
Sounds good.
Can you cut it down to about 3 minutes or 4 minutes?
Yeah, whatever.
All
Whatever
right.
you need.
And I was surprised to hear you mention the Dr. Phil podcast, just because we're so inundated with Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
But Dr. Phil, we always come back to Dr. Phil somehow. I mean, he does. I mean, he had the whatchamacallit girl.
Yeah, Cash Me Outside.
Cash Me Outside girl. That was. I mean, I have to credit him for that. That was an incredible episode. It launched a giant career.
Yeah, but give her some credit.
I do.
She really.
I do.
She really took advantage of the situation.
And didn't she?
Tell it to Dr. Phil.
I think she said, "I made your show."
Yeah. Oprah made you.
Take me outside. How about that?
Okay, so Dr. Phil's doing true crime.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
True crime podcast called Mystery and Murder Analysis by Dr. Phil. And I have a theory on...
No one asked for this podcast, Dr. Phil.
That sounds so crazy. It sounds like a puzzle, like a where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
I have a theory on why he's doing this show. And I think it has to do with the only sponsor that he has on the show, Play by Track 20.
Hey, you guys know my wife, Robin McGraw, has Robin McGraw Revelation, which is a great skincare product. And one of hers is called Let There Be Bright. This is a triple action brightening serum. It brightens the complexion and even skin tone with this seriously fast-acting serum that combines Lumiskin, lactic acid, and vitamin C. It's RobinMcGrawRevelation.com. That's the only place you
He's
can get it.
He's got a cold for the read, by the way. He couldn't do a second take on that when he didn't have a cold.
It was supposed to be a 10-second read, too, and it ended up being 28 because he talks so slow.
He missed an ingredient. There's also snake oil in that product. I like that this is for brighter skin. Who wants brighter skin? Is that a thing?
How about that?
I've never even heard of that.
Is he suggesting, could it be possible that this is for African-American women who want to lighten their skin? Is that Dr. Phil? I hope that's not what this is about.
I never thought about it was brighter.
No, that is really weird.
I thought, when you said there was a meaning behind it, I didn't know his wife sold snake oil. I assumed it was one of his kids was going to be producing it, like they produced the TV show and other things that he just lifts them along.
He does, yeah.
They do.
It's one thing to have his wife in the show, and she'd always join him at the end, because the show's a lot about relationships. But when he started putting the kids in there, and that one kid dates Playboy model after Playboy model, and they did a show on what looking good or looking bad will do for you, and they decided to take someone really attractive and make them unattractive, and they used his son.
Oh,
and I'm like,
crazy.
he's not that hot. He is not that hot to be the sample of someone who is great looking and is going to look bad looking for a couple interactions.
Maybe they brightened his skin to make him look worse.
Some nepotism going on. What's going on here?
I will say this, Carl. You don't know this, but Drew, I don't wonder if you remember this. It must have been right when he was getting really, really huge, and we had the opportunity to interview him. But they said we had to interview his son,
right?
And we're
How
just
about
like,
that?
Nah, no thanks. We don't want to talk to either one then.
I think we said we'll talk to Dr. Phil.
Yeah, it
and
was
they
very
said, no,
empowering.
it's just him and his son, or forget it. And we said, okay, forget it.
Not going to do that.
Yeah.
Fine. Suck it, Phil.
All right, so there's a few things that I wanted to analyze on this show, but since we're running short on time, I want to go through the true crime tropes that are going on in this podcast. I'm not a huge true crime fan, but I know it's a huge genre and it has a huge audience. They're just consistent things that every single one of these shows do. And one of them is you have to tease all the craziness that's coming up in the story that you're about to hear about. Track 21.
I never could have guessed what would ultimately transpire. That I was about to become enmeshed in a case of outlandish lies, stealing, and ultimately a shocking polygraph test.
Like
a shocking polygraph test?
Thank you, Drew. I'm glad you picked up on that. I actually listened to all 4 parts of this series to find out what the conclusion was. It drew me in a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Guess what the polygraph, the amazing results were? The guy was lying.
He was lying.
Shocking would be if he told the truth.
Right.
Of course.
It was just like he was being, he was deceiving us a bit. Oh, okay, great.
I want more Phil. Give me another one to play.
And then another trope is you have to let the audience know that this can happen to anyone. Track 22.
could have been you.
The repetitious nature of the fact that children in America can just simply go off the grid, can simply go missing, and no one notice is so very, very troubling.
Slow down, Phil.
Like that could have been me.
It's troubling.
I hate
Wait, how does no one notice when a kid goes missing? No one notices?
This does not happen.
That's what I was going to say. I hate it because people think that stuff happens all the time.
Yeah,
like kids
that's true.
And it's way more safer today than it's ever been for kids.
Yeah, it is, and people won't
Phones
let
and
people won't
cameras.
let their kids ride the bike to a house 3 houses away.
No,
and
How about that?
because you'll end up with that.
All right, 2 more cuts, Carl.
2 more cuts. Perfect. So track 31, you got to get the titillating, sensational story out there.
They found multiple fractures on her body, including her ribs, mandible, bilateral scapula, and 4 vertebrae. These, the fractures documented at autopsy, are consistent with multiple blunt force injuries over a prolonged period, wrote the medical examiner.
I'm talking, of course, about murder porn. Murder porn?
Carl, you said this was a multi-part.
Yeah, it's 4 parts, isn't it?
4 episodes, yeah.
Could it, in all honesty, could it have been 1 part?
They draw it out so much. The other thing that I want to play for you guys, we're running out of time, is Dr. Phil repeats himself so much. He thinks the audience is stupid. I think he might be right about that. But
Jamie,
the same thing over
the
and
adopted
over
brother,
again.
claimed Erica had been missing not for 2 days, not for 3 days, but for 2 years. He told police she was missing because their adopted parents had killed her and buried her in their backyard. That's right. He tells police that his sister had been missing for 2 years and that her adopted parents had killed her and buried her in their backyard.
Yeah, backyard. Yeah, you just said that.
Oh, man.
How about that?
I think it is a stretch. Because honestly, Carl, I was listening to it, and he's reading. Yeah. It's a script. Somebody else is doing all the work. They just want he's basically a voice talent for the show.
And you're right, Mark. If he would talk like a normal person, he could cram. If you just put this thing on 1.5 times speed, he'll sound normal, and you'll fly through it.
That's
Amen.
actually how I listen to it, which is it's sounding weird to me now when you guys are playing it in real time. Last clip, guys. Just every murder porn needs a money shot. Track 32.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine an innocent little girl voluntarily taken in by a family.
Yeah.
Only to be beaten and abused. So horrifically that they couldn't tell which of the injuries might have ended her life.
Ah, yes! Dropping loads in your mouth.
Oh, God.
That was rather dramatic.
Lord, Phil.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well, great stuff, Carl. And who are these podcasts this weekend?
Thank you so much. So this weekend, we're reviewing a podcast called Life by Design. It stars Christy Love and her husband. Christy Love is a porn actress.
Yeah.
And this is a podcast under the business category.
Really?
Well,
sounds like a great one.
I'm excited about this.
I'm excited about this. We also have
That
the
sounds
great
really
Ryan
compelling.
Long is going to be the co-host this weekend. Ryan Long, very funny comedian, has got some great YouTube videos. Puts one out every Monday.
Carl, you follow the comedy community a lot.
I do.
In fact, you just had a show about, Tim Dillon and...
Oh, Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura.
That's
Two
it.
Bears, One Cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I don't understand the appeal of Bert Kreischer. I just don't get it.
I know people that like him. I don't understand it. I don't know.
Do your Bert Kreischer episodes do well?
Yeah, we actually get more hate from people when we do Bert Kreischer episodes. We get so many people pounding on us after we do that.
Huh.
I think it's a great show to critique because he is big, and I feel like there's a major phoning in going on. Major. And, I don't know about the other guy. But anyway, okay, we'll look forward to who are these podcasts, a little porn-centric, porn business-centric this week, and that'll be available on Sunday morning, correct?
That's right. WhoAreThese.com, or just look for us, Who Are These Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcast. Thanks so much for having me again, guys.
Okay, Carl. We'll see you, man. Well, Carl is, again, scouting some podcasts for us, and we were talking about it the other day. And
his given name is Carl, and he likes to be called Fart Face.
We were kicking a few around, and I guess you're going to start off with Allison Graham?
Ashley.
Yeah.
Ashley Graham, the full-size model who gets so many gigs. She's on covers all over, every magazine cover. And
she's a pretty big deal. That's a great clip, Carl. Sounds wonderful.
So Ashley Graham does a podcast with her husband because they just gave birth to their first boy.
Aww.
And so they want to tell the story of her pregnancy and giving birth and everything else. And these people could not be more proud of themselves. It's really embarrassing to go on your show and talk about how amazing you are for 45 minutes straight.
Are you saying, are they the only people that have ever given birth to a boy? Is that?
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Okay.
We're gonna get to how amazing
Okay, great.
Ashley is because no one else has ever accomplished.
Pizza boy.
all right, guys. All right, Carl's got plenty of cuts.
It starts off with she's all excited that she was on the cover of Vogue magazine. Now she's pregnant on the cover of Vogue magazine. And the way she reacts to this on her own show, I think is embarrassing. This is track one.
Before baby Irving got here, we ended the year with a very exceptional Vogue cover.
What an experience.
I'm still kind of freaking out. When I see the cover, can you grab that?
I can. You mean this cover?
Nobody can see it.
Oh, my
Dude,
God.
you gotta act like you've been there before. I'm not going to go on WATP and be like, I was on the Drew and Mike show. I can't believe it. It's unbelievable. You got to act like you belong a little bit.
Can I ask a weird question? Does she do this like with video live too, or is it all just audio? Do you have any idea?
It's audio, isn't it?
So nobody can see the cover anyway.
Yes, but there has to be a video component because they bring in the baby at the end and introduce them. So imagine there's a video component.
I'm going to ruin this magazine when I get home.
I just, and by the way, we were not on the cover of Vogue. She was on the cover, not we. Is that her way of saying that her husband gets, that somehow he was on the cover because she's on the cover, so he'll keep working for her to get stuff, and she just says it's we?
I think the we is her and her son.
Okay.
That's how self-important she is.
Silly me. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, move on.
So track number 4 is more self-congratulating, and this is all about the natural childbirth that she did at home.
I went through laboring for 6 hours naturally.
Yeah, be specific. You had a completely natural childbirth at home.
At home.
Not to take anything away from her because I don't know what that's like. But literally billions of people have done that. That would be like me saying, "Well, I had sex without using Viagra." Can you believe it? It's not a big deal.
But that's kind of like your Vogue point, Drew. It's really about her. It's not about anybody else. So who cares?
Me.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you're wondering why she has her husband on the show, it's so that not only does she brag about herself, but he can brag about her too. This is Justin Irving talking about how amazing Ashley is, track 5.
I'm so proud of you. Like the way you handled that and the way you did that was just a testament. It was the icing on the cake to how well you prepared in advance through working out, through eating well, through staying active,
Yoga.
through taking the stairs, through doing yoga, through everything that you did to prepare for the biggest workout of your life. And it was that.
Wow.
Is there any humility left in the world? First of all, she's a 200-pound model. And they're acting like, wow, it's so amazing how you're able to be so disciplined. She's not. She's a badass.
It seems that the basis of their relationship is them both agreeing that she's great.
Yeah.
Isn't it, really?
Yeah, she wears the pants. There.
That's what I'm picking up on here, yeah.
With the 50-inch waist.
But
Okay.
I found out the real reason why she decided to give birth at home, because they thought about it. They were going to go to the hospital, and she decided, I'm going to do it at home. And track 6 is the reason.
I got to eat whatever food I wanted to.
Makes sense. That story checks out.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, man. It's like she doesn't understand how that comes across either.
So,
No.
Are you guys ready for the most pretentious baby name you've ever heard? They're going to introduce their newborn son. He comes into the room, and listen to this, track 7.
Oh,
Hey.
he's so little.
Yep. Here he is.
All right, world. Meet Isaac
Menelik,
Giovanni Irvin.
I love how they both said it at the same time.
I'm telling you, that baby could be the star of a show called Babies I Don't Care About.
Oh, isn't it funny when you're exposed to a show you're just never supposed to hear?
Yeah. It's... Well, that's
You realize how different you are than other people.
There must be somebody that listens to it.
I know,
and
that's what's
likes
scary,
it.
isn't it?
Yeah.
But if they listen to us, they'd say the same thing.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Yes, very much so. Wow.
These people would be insufferable to have like a dinner date with.
Yes.
Well, they'd be talking about themselves or their baby.
Yes.
What is that name? I don't even understand that name.
All right. Oh, this is the best. So when they talk about why they named their son what they named him, guess who it's all about?
Oh, her.
It's all about that.
Spoiler
Track
alert.
8.
Yeah.
And Menelik is the first emperor of Ethiopia. It also means son of the wise. And Menelik was the son of Queen of Sheba
And King Solomon.
And King Solomon.
It means son of the wise. When I heard that, all I could picture was Drew yelling, "Get over yourself!"
I know. Honest to God. Oh, boy.
I love that kid's going to have to explain it in first grade. Well, my name means son of the wise.
That's a great name.
Ethiopian name.
So who becomes more loved in this family? The baby, who is half Ashley,
Great point.
or Ashley, who's completely Ashley?
Oh,
that's a
great
tough
point.
one. Because Ashley has to feel that she has to stand up for anything that's half her all the time and be its advocate.
I think the baby's going to wear the pants. I think it's going to be all about the baby.
We'll see. That'll be interesting to see if the baby can actually boss mom around. I think you're probably right.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll be looking forward to finding
Tell
out.
me why Ashley Graham is famous.
No, I honestly, it's because she's kind of hot and she's really big.
Yeah, because she's broken the mold.
But I
By
don't.
sitting on it.
I know they're better looking people to see on covers of. I mean, are we wrong to think that models should be super duper attractive?
There's better looking fat chick.
Well,
I don't think she's that hot.
Thank you. That's what we used to argue with Maz about. Maz always talked about how pretty her face is, and I'm like, I don't think her face is that pretty. And sorry, her personality doesn't.
You butt out.
Her
personality
doesn't help.
smashes any preconceptions you have about her being really pretty. Yeah,
Exactly.
Anyway. Okay. So where to
you wanna
now?
know how she became so famous, though? I got 2 more clips to play real quick.
Okay.
Because this is really important. You guys familiar with the book The Secret?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of it.
Oprah pushed it, yeah.
I think this is working for her, track 2.
Oh, God.
Well, it's funny. You're always talking about affirmations and visions and everything, and one of your visions that you had on the board for a long time was a Vogue cover. And here we are.
It was on my vision board.
Yeah.
Can we see everybody's? I want to see everyone's vision board that didn't pan out. I want people to start.
All the things that didn't happen on that vision board.
What else was on that vision board?
Oh, Jesus.
But this is the best. So her believing in herself and having these visions isn't just good for her. It's also good for her unborn son, track 3.
But I had to go back to the basics of what affirmations were and how my words have power for my future and for my current state.
And for him. Because, what you say and what you feel.
Epigenetics.
Will absolutely pass down and get within his spirit and his system, too.
Mm-hmm.
So
That doesn't make any sense, Rick.
What?
Wow.
It's a bunch of
That's really
buzzwords.
something.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's good to be exposed to know that this goes on, that there really are people who are this into themselves. Makes me feel better about myself when I'm in a narcissistic bent.
And I'm not even saying that positive thinking isn't a good thing. It most certainly is. But to go on a podcast and explain that you think it makes your baby better is really stupid.
Yeah, that baby's going to have a podcast soon.
Likely.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, boy.
It's Grant on Facebook Live said her vision board is the Waffle House.
We're all going to hell.
Probably.
Lay off me, I'm starving.
Probably.
All right, Caller Daddy is a top shelf podcast. I mean, it's up there with Joe Rogan, and it's ahead of Adam Carolla and Mark Maron and all the golden oldies podcasts have been around 8-10 years. I mean, it is really, really hot. Top 5 in a very tough category. And it was 2 girls who talked very openly and very potty mouths, I guess you might say. Mm-hmm. But, there's a lot of audience for that. And we talked about how it seemed like it would be, be guys say, man, I'm getting off hearing these chicks talk. But it really isn't. It's females, and typically younger females. And then they splintered off. They disagreed over money, and they got a fabulous offer from Barstool. But the one, Alex Cooper, stayed, and now she's making very good money, and she's getting some bigger guests, too, including Miley Cyrus. How about that?
I really thought when Sofia Franklin left, they had been off the air for months, and then Alex Cooper came back and had this show where she explained that we're just putting on an act. I'm not really this kind of person. I'm just kind of making it seem like that for the show. I was like, oh, this is over. No one's going to listen to this anymore. And you're right, Drew. It is still a top podcast, and it's only getting bigger, it seems like.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm happy that that this show gets Miley Cyrus or people like that on. I think that's great. I think anytime it shows that she has a big audience, and the more people realize that there are a lot of podcasts that do have big audience, the more interviews that people like us might get eventually down the road.
Yeah, and Barstool is so big. Barstool really
Barstool's huge. I have to tip my cap to Barstool, because looking at all the trouble that Joe Rogan is having at Spotify, I mean, wouldn't Joe Rogan be great on Barstool? I mean, he'd be celebrated at Barstool.
Yeah, but
I don't think they'd give him $100 million.
And Spotify has the platform.
No, they do have the platform, but I think Joe Rogan could make a lot of money just about anywhere right now. I don't think he even needs a platform, to be honest. He's got a 1 million downloads a show? Is he getting more downloads on Spotify? Do we know that?
Oh, I would think eventually. Is he? I don't know if is he exclusively Spotify yet, or is that at the end of the year?
Yeah, that's coming. I mean, typically that has made people get less downloads being exclusive to one platform. So it's a lot of money. I can never blame him for accepting it, but just pointing out that, Barstool, look at Alex Cooper. How would she ever last a day on Spotify?
No, and what happened to her former partner? Isn't her boyfriend that she followed to HBO? Isn't he out of a gig now?
Yeah, they got rid of him.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Oops.
Well, let's hear what Miley Cyrus and Alex Cooper, the host of the Rockstar podcast, Caller Daddy, have to say.
So Mark was wondering how good of an interviewer Alex would be. So I want to start there. I want to give you the answer to that question. Track 13, this is great. She's asking Miley a question about the types of guys she wants to get into a relationship with. She then tells her what the answer should be and then agrees with herself.
Like, who are you in a relationship? I'm so interested to know. Are you hyper crazy and do you like a calm person?
Oh my God. I actually do kind of need, I usually end up complaining that they're boring, but that's what I need. I need boring.
Me too. I'm realizing I need like more calm.
More calm.
Yeah, I heard a lot of stuff like this, Carl. I heard somebody who was really just undermatched for a guest like Miley Cyrus. But why would she? I mean, she's probably one of her first big interviews, so I understand it at the same time.
Well,
I'll give her a little slack.
You'll give her a little bit of slack, but that is 101 of interviewing is you don't lead the witness with, here's the answer that I want you to give, and then I'm going to interrupt you after you give it. Speaking of interrupting, on track 12, she interrupts Miley as Miley is talking about this trauma that she's had in her life, because, her house burned down. She just went through this big breakup. So she's talking about this trauma and how that's shaped her personality and, transformative and all that kind of stuff. And Alex decides to just interrupt her and make it about herself.
Awesome. Great.
I think the only way through it has been through a little bit of trauma. And
I just want to say, first of all, that's like the most beautiful thing, because like, honestly, coming to your house, I had no fucking clue what to expect. I'm about to meet Miley Cyrus. Like, of course I watched Hannah Montana. Are you fucking kidding me? I made embarrassing music videos pretending to be you when I was younger. And then now, as the Call Her Daddy host, I'm so excited to meet the woman that is so sexually liberated and is like an icon for our generation.
What? Huh?
Wow.
Well,
Alex is not used to not being the center of attention, you can tell.
Yeah. No, it's a little tricky for her. But she did go to Miley's house for this, so she did, I guess, sublimate herself to some degree. Small.
Another example of being a bad interviewer, you guys talk about this a lot, when you're not listening. If somebody's telling you something, it's really important to listen and process that information correctly. Track 11, Miley is talking about, well, I'll just let you play it.
It's really been a period for me where I felt like super insecure with my sexuality. Like, I've just been that way. Like, I used to strip naked, completely naked in a Cracker Barrel when I was age of 3 and like roll around on the ground.
Oh
so that's just like that's just like who I am.
we love that. And America loved it when you did it more on like TV.
Oh yeah, they loved that. They loved that.
What?
Loved what?
Stripped naked when she was 3 in a Cracker Barrel.
America loved
and
it.
Alex goes, "We love that. We love when 3-year-olds strip naked." What? You want to take that one back?
What a stupid story, anyway.
Yeah, really. It's gross, too. Aren't there peanut shells all over the floor?
Oh. Yeah, it's a restaurant.
I thought it was that chain that had peanuts.
I love
peanuts.
that.
Okay.
I love that.
All right, so the interview starts off. They're talking about Miley's new song that just dropped. Miley's got this incredible new song that's going to change the world. And, of course, the compliment that comes from Alex is number 9.
I am like wet listening to your song.
Yes.
Miley.
It's not a great compliment because everything makes Alex wet. It's not an impressive piece.
Wet ass P word.
I know it's very celebrated, the whole sexuality and sending pussy pics and all this.
Yeah.
This pussy is wet.
As a guy listening to this, though, do you get kind of like cringy after a while?
Yes.
I do. Now, I guess, do women love this? Do all women find this liberating and cool?
Well, how much is it, Carl?
Because I don't like hearing guys talking about blowing loads all the time either.
What guys are you around talking about blowing their loads all the time?
Nobody.
But honestly, is it? I mean, are you exaggerating how often she talks about that stuff? Or is it?
No. Now that you said that, I'll play you an example. This is the question that she asks Miley Cyrus, who is a pop star. I mean, I know that Miley Cyrus is a little bit out there.
Let me guess, number 18?
Yes.
So if you had to pick for the rest of your life,
I'm scared.
You have to pick either getting eaten out or fingered, and you can't get the other one. Which one are you getting?
I'd rather finger myself.
I left Miley for answering that so quickly, but would you ask Diana Ross that question?
I give Miley credit.
She went off the board.
That's not the answer I thought she was going to give either.
No.
I thought there would only be
Sounds
one.
like he fingered her.
There'd only be one answer.
Actually, it ended up being a very good question.
Yeah, I'll give her credit for that.
Well, 10 minutes later, for some reason, they're talking about something totally different, and Alex has a misfunction, and decides to repeat that again. Track 19.
The fact that your answer to if you want to get eaten out or fingered, you said, I want to get fingered, but I also want to do it my fucking self.
Yeah.
Miley fucking Cyrus.
Dude.
Repeating her answer back to her. That's not a question.
No.
Remember that thing you just said a little while ago? Yeah.
Oh, she just likes being naughty, I think.
Yeah.
Repeat it. Make sure everybody knew it happened.
There's a lot of gratuitous F words, too.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, she's got a potty mouth, as I said.
Cool.
Very, very potty.
Wow.
I want to get back to the song. Have you guys heard this song that's dropped now, Midnight Sky?
No, it
I
sounds
haven't
terrible.
heard it.
Okay. So this is Miley explaining how amazing it is, track 10.
Okay.
There's like a formula, I think everyone, whether you make pop music or not, know that there's like a pop formula. And this really goes against that by having this like gender swap in lyrics because it, in a way, it's challenging the system and challenging structure, which is what I always do.
Right.
What she always does.
She has no idea.
Yeah, she's always challenging the system.
What are you talking about, Cyrus?
Challenging. Oh, my God.
And she has a cold, too. Because those she has a cold.
Miley has more. I wish I had the balls in my voice that she has in her voice. Doesn't she have balls?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's not a bad singer.
No, she's a great singer.
She just explained that she's writing pop music that challenges the system and goes against the formula. Let's listen to the chorus of this song, track 21.
20.
It's so generic.
Okay, great. That challenges.
Sounds like a #1 hit tune, all right.
That challenges nothing. It sounds like any other pop song.
What was the hook? Honestly, I must be deaf.
The lyrics to the hook?
No, I mean, I just couldn't really tell what she was saying.
That's because it's so auto-tuned. Here you go. I was born to run.
I was born to run. I don't belong to anyone.
It's so generic. It's her boyfriend dumped her. So now she had to write the song that said, good, I don't need you anyway.
No one's ever done that.
Born to run.
Yeah,
and
that's
Alex getting wet over this.
No one's ever said born to run in a song.
I know. Groundbreaking. And by the way, not to get technical, but the structure of this song is A-B-A-B-C-B. It is the most generic structure of a pop song you could possibly have. So, real groundbreaking stuff.
Just to point out that this idea isn't so special that she doesn't belong to anyone. I recall Elvis Costello saying he didn't want anyone saying, you belong to me, you belong to me. I mean, that's just one. Just one. I think there's been many, many, many songs where people have said that they don't belong to anyone.
Oh, this is the most generic pop song. That's what's so funny about it, because I hadn't heard it either. And they were talking about it ad nauseum, about how amazing it is, and it's challenging the system. The whole thing where she says, we're changing the gender. The point was, she said, my lips are on her lips, but then there's a guy who has his hands on her hips. So it's like there's like a girl and a guy. Like, whatever, who cares?
Well, her first sexual experience was a three-way, remember?
What?
Didn't she say that? She just recently said that.
I don't believe that.
I don't either.
Go get your forensic accountant on that.
I'll work on it. Okay, so what else can we hear from this wonderful show, Call Her Daddy?
I want to point out that Miley Cyrus is an asshole. And she just comes out and says it. She doesn't realize that she's coming out and saying it, but she just comes out and says it. She's talking about she was on a flight and there was a gay flight attendant and she was just treating him like shit. Ugh. And this is track number 20.
Yeah. So I had a guy on a queen on Delta the other day that treated me like shit, and I loved him.
Wait, you're like, I'm horny.
Yes,
I'll actually
so
fuck
much.
you.
Wow. He was like mad at me because I was watching my HGTV too loud, and I could never hear him when he was asking me things, and he was annoyed, and I loved him. He was mean to Bradley too. He was mean to you.
Wait, that's kind of amazing.
We won him over.
You're like, I
But
fucking
this
love
Queen
this.
on Delta was so fucking mean to me, and I wanted to give him the biggest hug for it, but he did not want a hug from me.
But you're like, I love you. He's like, bitch, what are you talking about? I hate you.
Yeah, he did not like me.
Wow.
But I loved him.
Wait.
What a titled asshole.
Yeah, very
much. Oh, my God, is that disturbing. Wow.
It's
And Call Her Daddy, Alex just think that's the most one. Apparently, she relates to it.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
I believe that part.
Yeah, but we know she's not listening. And another reason I hate Miley's new song is it booted us off Facebook.
Oh, shit.
Oh, it did.
It was a short clip, though. I mean, we're not in any trouble or anything, but that was the end of Facebook Live.
Amazing how Facebook is so quick when it comes to a song
if only
copyright.
Carl would have murdered 50 people on Facebook Live instead.
Yeah, next time, Carl, please shoot someone, and we'll stay on.
Instead of murdering 3 podcasts.
All right, let me take care of this, and then we'll come back with a couple more clips from. There's a couple other shows in the mix, and that's what I'm trying to do is get us to sort of broaden things. I don't want to be WATP because some people go, well, I love Carl's appearances, but it's not good enough because it's not long enough like WATP. Well, we're trying to do something a little different than WATP. So
that's the complaint that I'm not on long enough. Yes, I like that complaint.
It wasn't the most common complaint, but it did come about.
It wasn't.
Yeah, we're all kind of shocked, those of us who follow these things, that Anthony's just boogieing along with Compound Radio. Seems like it's his show's doing well. He's got a lot of subscribers. He's gone the subscription route. I wonder, we probably have more audience than Anthony does, but he's charging people to listen.
You definitely have more people listening to your show than Anthony has listening to his.
And I'm surprised he's okay with I'm surprised he's okay with that, because that's the part that I couldn't, because a lot of people felt that, well, if you charge, you do get the hardcore people, but you're going to make more money, and it's easier. And I just felt like, I know, but to limit the audience is just so hard to do, but I guess he doesn't really mind.
Well, what he does, and it's a good strategy, is if he has a really good rant or if there's a bit that he does or a segment, he'll take that out and put it on YouTube. And that gets people talking about it. He still gets tons of views when he does that. So maybe he's getting more people coming in that way. But yeah, I know it's tough. You get a certain specific audience, and then those are the people you talk to.
Well,
you really rely on them. You got to figure going forward. That's it.
I was talking to a mutual friend who loves Rogan, loves the show, and is like, I haven't listened to him since he went to Spotify because they don't want to download the app or pay for the app. So
I have to admit, I don't think I've downloaded the app yet.
Well, I mean, if you make it harder to find you, that's an issue.
No, it is.
And then if you have to pay, I don't think you have to pay once you have. I don't know if you have to pay for Spotify once you have it, or if you just have to see a bunch of annoying ads to get it. But
probably.
I don't know. I don't like adding steps. It's hard enough to get people to download a podcast.
I know Crime Town lost a ton of audience when they went to Spotify. Yeah, that was what I heard.
Yeah, but they got money, so
yes, they did.
I mean,
and Spotify's happy too because they get all that audience.
I'd take $100 million and some money.
Pretty good deal. But so Anthony, anyway, the surprise is that Opie is just so lost, and you cover that a lot on Who Are These Podcasts. Yeah. Opie is just, I don't even know why he's still doing it.
You know what he's doing now? This is crazy. He's starting to put out shows as his podcast from his old SiriusXM show when he was in the afternoons, because he lost both Vic Henley and Carl Ruiz over the last year. Both passed away, and they used to be regulars on his show. So he's doing this series called Love Ya Miss Ya, where he's playing these old shows. I reached out to Eric Nagel, E-Rock, the producer of that show on Sirius, and said, how does he have the rights to this?
Yeah,
that's a great question.
Way. And Eric's response was, SiriusXM has totally disowned Opie and Anthony and all things Opie. They don't care, and Opie's not making any money. So as long as no money's being made, nobody even gives a fuck. That's how bad it is that nobody even cares that Opie is taking things that don't belong to him and putting it out.
So he's not doing anything new anymore?
He is. He goes on Facebook Live and talks to people who are chatting with him on the beach.
I don't follow it as closely as you two do, but I used to listen to O&A infrequently when they were together. What is the main problem with Opie now, Carl, in your opinion?
Well, Opie was never the talented one. Opie brought people together who were really good together. And he was the one who brought on Anthony, and then he was the one who found Jim Norton. And those guys obviously have a lot of friends that were comedians, and so that worked really well as long as Opie was kind of running the show. When he's by himself, it sucks. So
he doesn't have anything to say.
He has nothing to say. He's not an interesting person. He doesn't live an interesting life.
You know what's most shocking about it is they used to do Jocktober, where they would blast any show anybody ever suggests, including some in Detroit, by the way. And it was, the idea of generic, bad, cliche radio they made it sound so horrific you couldn't believe, God, how did I ever listen to bad radio before? But it was kind of fun to hear them trash on it. And then to hear him sounding like the shows they used to make fun of is so strange to me. I mean, he does. He sounds like a bad radio show.
But if he could find Norton and he can find, Anthony, why couldn't he find someone else?
So that's what he did. He found Carl Ruiz, and when he got the podcast with Westwood One, it was kind of him and Carl. They were kind of co-hosts. And then Carl got busy. He opened a restaurant. He was doing television stuff. So he got busy doing other things, and then he passed away. And now Opie has nothing.
Ooh.
He's living in the Hamptons. He doesn't have any friends out there. He has no one to talk to, and it's really sad.
Oh, that is sad.
I have to tell you, I just didn't think the show with Carl, I mean, rest in peace, Carl. I just didn't think it was anything close to the old show. But, how many great partners are you going to find in one career? Anyway, okay, so you had, Mark was talking about Impulsive, Logan Paul show, which I really have not listened to this podcast, but Carl, you gave it a listen, and what do you have to say about it?
So I mentioned maybe a year or so ago, I was doing a bunch of YouTubers podcasts, and I said, okay, I'm done. I'm putting a moratorium on reviewing YouTubers podcasts because what I've discovered is YouTubers are famous because of editing. The reason why YouTubers have good YouTube videos is because they edit the shit out of them. They're not good at just talking for an hour straight. So I listened to Logan Paul with this in my mind. H3, you guys know who H3 is?
No.
H3 podcast famously had Bill Burr on, and it was the most uncomfortable show. Like, how could you do a terrible job with Bill Burr?
Why?
I don't know.
What was bad about it? Did they not know about Burr? Or was he sitting there going like, what's wrong with you guys?
Yeah. He's like, what's wrong with you guys? They were starstruck. They didn't know how to talk to the guy.
Ugh.
And it got so famous because they can take as many takes as they want when they're doing their little YouTube videos.
Right.
Wow.
So I started listening to Logan Paul in a recent episode, and they're talking about there was a lot of controversy in the last episode they did. There were a lot of negative comments on YouTube.
Okay.
And they had to take the comments down.
Oh, boy. Okay.
This is Logan Paul right out of the gate. You would think you were going to know what you're going to talk about when you first start your show, and he does not.
And we wanted to address something, and I'm going to do this in the best way I possibly can, given my chaotic mindset that I have right now. But you may have noticed we did disable comments on the last podcast. We did that because our audience, and I hate to just group everyone together, because there's a small minority that is very vocal, and they do not represent the majority of our audience. So I'm addressing those people.
That's every audience.
There's a small majority of our audience. Can you do small majority? Yeah. Small minority of our audience that. See, I probably should have prepped because I don't know how to lead into this respectfully, but it's gotten volatile and toxic in the comments to a point where I'm no longer comfortable.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's annoying.
I probably should have prepped.
That's the line that I find most annoying.
Don't you just love a person who just can't handle their own audience? They're too much for me. They're too toxic. Do something about my audience, damn it! I mean, that's an incredible thing to say.
You have them, but to not prep for your show or not think about what you're going to say, it's unforgivable.
I would think he would have the wherewithal to get through it.
Doing a podcast is kind of like revealing yourself. You're taking the curtain down, and it shows you're actually not that talented. And I think a lot of these YouTubers, when they go to the podcast format, they still have an audience. So there's still millions of people listening to this.
And when you do that audience isn't going to love every part of you.
No, they're not. Not with everybody having a voice. I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I wonder so often about people like Logan Paul and what's his name, Cameron, the super handsome guy that all the girls love.
Is it Dallas Cameron or Cameron Dallas?
Cameron Dallas.
It's one of those two.
How long does this go on where they are beloved and everyone has to, see every video they make and every TikTok or whatever?
They age out just like
that's what I would think.
DiCaprio girlfriend or something. They get too old and they lose interest. Nobody cares anymore.
Okay. It just seems like most of the originals are still going. Although I did read about some.
Where's Maddie B today? Is Maddie B doing anything?
Well, that's a good question. Carl, will you review Maddie B?
I'll do it for you.
Do you know who Maddie B is?
I do not.
So we found Maddie B, 10 years ago?
Yeah,
he was a little twink. I think
he was probably 9 at the time.
I think
he's 17 now.
Okay, so he's 7. and he would take popular songs and make them clean and do clean versions of them.
Even rap songs.
Yeah, rap songs, pop songs, all kinds of songs. And it was just really corny and embarrassing.
So bad. It's horrifying. I hated him. I blasted him on the show all the time.
Do you have one up there, Brandon? Can you pick one?
Yeah, I'll try to find one. I don't know which one's which or.
It's getting a little more sexual now, where chicks are like
he's
wanting
got pubes now. He got a boner.
Chicks are into him. I mean, they've always been into him.
He probably did a song about his first boner.
Oh, he's getting ugly.
Always facing
Cool.
temptations. God, I'm trying to be patient.
The problem
this is when he was good.
Oh, there he is. Yes, a kid.
Oh yeah, because
Still cute.
We will know this song, right? Isn't this a popular song? The original version.
Gym Class Heroes.
I don't know.
Hey, Brandon, do My Humps on the side there. The Black Eyed Peas song. 2 down where you are. There you go.
Maddie B.
You know
Well, you guys are being awfully fussy about your Maddie B selection.
Well, you know the original version of My Humps, right?
I think
How
so.
badass he is.
It's very sexualized.
Boy, all these hot young 9-year-old girls.
What you gonna do with all them pumps inside that trunk? I'ma make you jump up with my pumps. My pumps, what? My pump.
Now, everybody that was mad at that Netflix movie, this one has 165 million views. How come no one's mad at this?
165 million views?
Yeah, but this is just as sexualized.
For this twink? Why is he singing like a rapper? He's white.
Why? There's white rappers. You racist.
But he's covering a song, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, here's some more. Can I hear a little more Maddie B? I'm not as interested in the girls. Sorry.
You gotta try. Oh yeah, you know this Taylor Swift. Shake It Off.
Oh yeah.
I stay up till late, how we chillin', making some crazy moves. Got our feet kicked back, relaxing, that's how we do. Leading ladies on this chorus, I'm killing the ones and twos. Derek Jeter flow, shaking off haters is what we do. Got you tripping, only like 3 or 4. Boy, please, really, man? Okay, maybe a couple more. My generation's beautiful. People.
He's totally he's totally banging his chicks, isn't he?
Yes,
totally
now he is. He's got 132 million views to this. Carl, are you appalled?
I think you legitimately like this, Drew. You're like, oh, let's listen to 5 more songs, then we'll call it. You're into this.
It's very clean.
It just stuns me. It's just mind-boggling to me that he could just rip off any. I mean, does he have to pay licensing to these people?
That's a good question.
I'd be making a lot of money. 132 million. Does he get more views than the original song?
No, there's no way. Shake It Off has to have more than 132 million.
But I mean,
views.
the fact that he would even be in the ballpark with Mariah Carey or it's fucking unbelievable.
As a father of 2 girls, I'd rather they hear the original one, maybe with some bad words or something in it, than hear Maddie B.
Now he's got original songs.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, is this an original?
But it sucks because he's
Jump the Shark.
17 now.
Jump the Shark.
Beautiful race. Black, white, yellow, it ain't cool to be fake.
Ooh, his voice has changed. Gross.
Put it in a song.
Wait, that's not him singing.
Yeah,
here it is. It is.
Colors.
I didn't see his lips moving.
The video is about a waitress who doesn't like his friend because his friend is African American.
No, come on.
Come on, that's too predictable.
Oh my God! And look she's holding her purse as she walks out.
Wouldn't it have been better for the Maddie B brand if he went off script and was alt-right? He became an alt-right rapper.
He just uploaded this a week ago. It's got 500,000 views already.
I'm going to do it. I want to see more.
Hold on. Only 500,000? That's nothing, Brandon. He was doing 160 million.
I know. Puberty's
He's
killing
not
this kid.
cute anymore.
He's the next Screech.
I think every pube costs him 1 million views.
He's never seen a pube. The first one time it sprouted, he shaved it off. I'm guessing.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, enough of that. We have one more cut for you from
sorry, Carl.
From Carl. A little different version there.
This is great. I didn't know about Maddie B. So on Who Are These Podcasts, we do talk about Opie a lot. Opie is a guy that we keep coming back to. Another one is Stuttering John Melendez.
Oh, yes.
And
my favorite.
Stuttering John was on the Howard Stern show for 14 years. Then he went over to the Tonight Show. He was the announcer. He was actually on TV for a little while. Then they got him off the camera and put him back in the writing room. And he thinks he's still a celebrity, and he's not, which is a lot of fun. So we've been making fun of him, and he gets really upset. And then a lot of people troll him, and then he gets more upset.
He does get trolled like crazy, doesn't he?
I think Bentley trolled him for a little while.
Oh, really?
On Twitter, yeah.
He's easy to troll.
Yeah.
Because he claps back. He can't help himself.
The thing that he's doing now that's so funny is he's reliving his glory days. He's constantly talking about how funny he used to be on Howard Stern, how important he was on that show. You know, he's suing SiriusXM.
Oh, yeah.
Because they play his tapes without his permission. So
Rarely.
What's amazing about this is his revisionist history on these things. I just have a quick clip that I want to play as an example of this. He's talking about, you guys are familiar with the term a stunt boy in radio?
Oh, yeah, unfortunately,
yeah.
Stuttering John was the stunt boy on the show.
He was.
They didn't hire him because he was talented. Literally, when Howard heard that he had a stutter, he's like, he's in. He was an intern. Yeah.
Yeah, and he would go interview people because he's got a stutter, and they would have to sit there and painfully wait for him to stutter it out. Yeah.
This is why he's famous.
This is a great bit.
He thinks in his head that he's famous because he was witty and wrote good jokes and was an important part of the show. So this is just a quick clip of him talking about when there was a roast of Howard Stern back in the 90s. Oh, boy. And he was the funniest person on it. No one else was funny.
Unlikely.
I was better than Jackie. I was better than everybody, because I really prepared and wrote my own jokes and did a really good job. I had Howard laughing his ass off. Every joke ended with a nose. And I had Fred play the sound effect from Pee-wee's Playhouse, when they say the same word. And that was it, but I did it deadpan. Reason why when Howard was young, he couldn't play chess because he kept knocking over the pieces because of his nose.
Oh, that's sad.
Oh, boy.
Is he doing
an
that?
Example of a joke, and it's not funny at all. And he's playing every joke in the same punchline. Like, that sounds terrible. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I remember Carl when he mentioned some joke he told at it was like a stand up. You guys covered it, and he was just basically saying, "Man, you should have heard this joke I told at this this Artie Lang thing or something." And I was like, "Oh my god, that wasn't funny. Why are you repeating a joke you told 20 years ago? That's ridiculous."
And telling us how good it is. Let us judge it.
My favorite example was when he was in the writer's room at the Tonight Show, and they're just in the writer's room, and he told a joke that Leno laughed at, and he had to repeat it. He told a joke with coworkers, and you're repeating it? What are you doing?
And he was doing that in the middle of a highway. Did you guys notice?
It was on his balcony.
Why is he doing it on his balcony?
That's terrible.
It sounds terrible.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons that a lot of shows are sounding really bad right now. I mean, the Zooms aren't the best, but when you have bad production in the first place and then you throw Zoom in with it, it just seems like the standard of quality has been allowed to demise a bit. But anyway, Carl, great stuff. I got to tell you, the Caller Daddy thing was fascinating, as was Ashley Graham, and we'll look forward to more excitement in a couple weeks. And meanwhile, Sundays, Who Are These Podcasts will star.
We're going to have a gentleman named Chad Zumock on, who's done morning radio, and he's a comedian. He's down in Florida now. But we're starting up our Jocktober series for the month of October. All 5 episodes we're dedicating to radio shows and ex-radio jocks who are doing podcasts. So this week we're doing a show called Pauly MF20. And this is the host of the Maxwell Show out of Cleveland. It was an afternoon show. You guys familiar with it?
Is that the same station as what's Rover?
Rover? No, Rover wasn't Rover on
Rover's Morning Glory. Is that MMS? WMMS?
It might be, yeah. It might be the same station.
Okay. I'm in, Carl.
Yeah, so this guy, an ex-jock who's now doing a podcast, and looking forward to breaking that down.
Any other Jocktober targets for you?
Yeah, I haven't picked them all yet. So if you guys have some suggestions, I am all ears. Drew has picked some of our best podcasts, by the way.
Drew will find
yeah, I've
got. You sent us Dennis Rodman, which was amazing.
I've got some ideas, Carl. We'll talk about it for sure. Thanks again, and we'll look forward to this Sunday's Who Are These Podcasts?
Enjoy listening
Thanks so
to Matty
much for
B.
having me, guys. Go to whoarethese.com. You can get all the shows and all the links to everything.
You got it. All right.
I got so many filters.
Who are these?
Rodman. That podcast was positively. The concept was so stupid.
Why? Because they came up with the title before the
Yeah,
show?
they did. They decided, well, it's got to be on the rebound because he's a great rebounder. And then they had complete strangers, people that no one would know, talking about their relationship, and he would decide if they were together or on the rebound.
Didn't he
It
end up
didn't make sense.
Wow, it sounds really compelling.
It was just so bad. Oh, my God.
What a disaster.
Carl, any thoughts?
Carl, good to see you.
Is there a song that would best introduce you?
Is there a Multitude song we can use?
Oh, Multitude. I forgot. Carl was in a band called Multitude. That was a new disclosure. I love that name.
It was an 80s hair metal band, and we all dressed up with wigs on, and we went full on out 80s hair metal. My current wife was in that band with me.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
What does she play?
She's a singer.
So, are you going to tell us that you hit on a band member?
She sounds hot.
How else do you meet girls? I don't know.
Oh, in the band? Is that when you guys got together?
I used to date a girl who was a go-go dancer in my band, and then I married a girl who sang in that band.
She sounds hot.
Wow.
Okay,
so she sang in the band first.
No, this is two different people I'm talking about.
Wait, you had a go-go dancer who just go-go danced during the show?
That's in my band, the Isotopes. Yeah, we have go-go dancers.
Really?
Who dance during the show, yeah.
When did this band start doing this?
The Isotopes are coming up on their 20th anniversary next year.
So is that
I'm dating myself?
Was that pre-Kid Rock go-go dancers?
Probably. Around the same time. Yeah.
What encouraged you to do that? Did you see something? Was it just an idea out of the sky? Because I remember when Kid Rock started doing that, I thought, man, that's so cool.
Well, we started as a 60s surf rock band, like the Ventures and Dick Dale and stuff like that. So the go-go dancers were a big part of that scene.
Okay.
There's actual audio of Carl talking to the other bandmates, the ones he didn't nail.
Who would you rather nail? I disqualify myself because I done them both.
How about that?
Thank you, Marie.
Carl got the go-go dancer and his wife. What did your wife play? She just sang?
Yeah, she's a lead singer, yep.
No kidding. Okay, so Multitude, what was the other band's name?
The Isotopes. The Isotopes are still going. Multitude is now defunct.
When's the last gig Isotopes had?
We actually just got to play at a local comedy club a few weeks ago because in New York State, they've shut down all things that are fun, including comedy, music, stripping. Anything you want to go do, you can't do it now. But we had some workaround. We pretended that you paid $10 to get pizza, and it was really shitty pizza. And then there just incidentally happened to be a live rock band there.
Now, how did you do? How was the crowd?
The crowd was great. We sold out because it was 50% capacity, so it made it a little bit easier.
How many people is 50% capacity?
100 or 120 or so.
With the Isotopes, do they travel? Is there any possibility of a Michigan gig?
We don't typically travel because people have families and responsibilities, but we would love to go on the road and hit some spots outside of Rochester. It'd be great.
I'd like to see you play a concert sometime.
I think the Magic Bag would be a cool gig, wouldn't it be, for a blowout?
I do not want him coming out on stage unless he's hard.
Absolutely not. Of course not.
I would go anywhere where live music is legal at this point because it's been very frustrating living in New York State. I'm sure Michigan's no better, but it's been very frustrating.
As someone who critiques podcasts on a regular basis, would you feel comfortable being promoted to our audience to play at a gig?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, the Isotopes, you think they'd get over?
The Isotopes win people over very quickly and easily because we are a spectacle. We have go-go dancers. We have effects on stage, a light show.
What?
It's a big production.
We do it up. It's not just a typical
This for all the dudes on the stage. All y'all gay.
It sounds like the perfect act for Drew-a-Palooza.
Yeah, Drew-Palooza.
Or Drew Fest.
Absolutely.
Drew-Palooza Stock Fest. Yeah.
And what would be, let's just pick out 5 or 6 songs that would typically be in the playlist.
Well, we typically close with Frankenstein by Winter. So, like I said, we started as a surf band, but now we kind of do lots of different styles of music. We do swing music and we do rock. We do everything instrumentally. There's no lead singer.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah, it's all instrumental music.
Carl, how are you going to win the crowd over here with no singer?
I know you would think that people would be
Is there
turned on by
dancing?
that, but we do things like Black Betty, and I play all the vocal leads on guitar. So you still get the vocal leads. Sometimes people sing along. We do Take On Me by A-ha. People start singing along to the chorus, even though no one's
Name
singing
one
it.
other band that's done that.
Right, exactly.
I see an audition for singers at this gig.
That's really
Could that
great.
be fun? Have you ever done that?
I'm hooked, though. I kind of want to see him play.
If only you knew a singer.
Yeah, exactly, Carl. Why can't she sing?
We don't want a singer. It's supposed to be an instrumental band.
You just don't want your wife at band practice.
Yeah, I was just going to hit on the other members.
I don't know if I appreciate this hook at all. The band with no singer. And is your guitar playing so good that it's better than any lead singer possibly ever?
Well, it's less of a pain in the ass, that's for sure. I don't know if you've ever dealt with lead singers before, but it's not fun.
Especially when you marry them.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so Carl.
You've never liked an instrumental band before? You don't like Dick Dale or the Ventures or something like that?
No, I do appreciate them, but as far as like over and over and over and over, like night after night, I think if I was in the band, I would get bored because I would want a singer. I mean, even Gary Hoey started singing.
Yeah.
Are you a Hoey fan?
Oh, yeah, we actually do. What was the cover that he did?
Hocus Pocus?
Yes, we actually
Yes.
cover Hocus Pocus. We do it in the Gary Hoey style. Yeah.
Very cool.
I think it might be frustrating, especially when you know the words to the song and there's no singer there to sing it, just the guitar.
Well, we may have to find out. And of course, Carl would certainly be open to critiquing since that's his gig. And in fact, Who Are These Podcasts this past week had a Michigander that we all know.
Yep.
Eric Zane. How did Eric Zane get on the radar of Who Are These Podcasts?
So he pretends like it just happened out of nowhere, but he found us first, emailed me back in July and said, hey, by the way, I have my own show, sent me a timestamp of when he talked about us, and very much invited himself to be critiqued.
Really?
And because we're doing Jocktober this month, we're doing all radio shows this month. I had another one of his listeners reach out to me and say, you should do the Eric Zane show. And I realized that, Eric had already reached out to me. So I said, great, let's do it. And that's why he got on our radar.
Okay, and you went on Eric's podcast today. He does a 5-day-a-week show. Eric worked at WRIF, for those who remember.
Spring of 98 to fall of 98.
Yes.
Your surgery.
Exactly. It was quite a while. And
Sonny, those were crazy times.
I'm not sure those are Eric's favorite. I'm not sure that's his favorite year on the radio, to be honest.
Didn't mention it.
But
I went on Eric's show this morning and talked about you guys and how well you've transitioned from radio to podcasting. And he had very nice things to say about you.
Well, no, I can't say anything bad about Eric either. I just don't think it was his favorite year. But I like Eric, and I've met him, and we've chit-chatted, and he seemed like a good guy. Now, he's doing a daily podcast, much like we are, about 2 hours a day, correct?
Oh, yeah, over 2 hours a day, because he also does a Patreon-only show after his regular show.
God, that's amazing.
Doing it all by himself.
And by the way, interesting that Kevin and Bean, the Los Angeles show, 30 years, probably had the biggest Cume audience, which is the radio, the size, like the individual listeners, probably had one of the biggest Cume audiences in the United States of America for 30 years. And they were put in the Hall of Fame, and then Bean retired, quote unquote, moved back to the UK where he's lived before. Kevin stayed with the show. 4 months later, COVID hits, and boom, Kevin blown out without Bean. Well, now Bean is doing a podcast with Allie McKay, who was she the news person on the show?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anybody know?
No one knows. No.
I assume she was because she does morning TV for KTLA out there. So she's a big name. I looked her up. She's got 58,000 Twitter followers or something like that. She's very pretty too. And I thought it was weird that Bean was doing the show without Kevin, but rather with Allie. And Carl said, well, good sign. They got 2,000 Patreon followers right away, correct?
Yeah, I mean, they just signed up for it less than a day ago, and they already have 2,000 people. They only have one episode out, and they already have 2,000 followers.
That's pretty good, but
only
that's
behind the paywall, though. So it's called Cup of Tea and a Chat. It's 3 days a week, and you can only hear it if you sign up for their Patreon between $3 and $20 a month.
Shouldn't they give you one free show?
Something for free, yeah.
I mean,
also, I thought it was strange that they went straight to Patreon, considering their audience is probably a little bit older. They're probably less savvy. They should have just set up their own thing and not shared the money with Patreon. You would think they have the audience.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, that show probably had over 1 million listeners.
What is Patreon?
Loyal.
What is Patreon's cut?
Patreon takes 8%, and then there's this other 8% fee for processing, so it's 16%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what they take from me anyway.
Well, what's the advantage to Patreon as opposed to, we have a donate bar, and in fact, I want to thank those people that do hit our donate bar. And also, it's Amazon people. It was Amazon Prime Day yesterday.
Still is,
hopefully a lot of people.
and tomorrow, yeah.
If you go through Amazon, we get 8% of that, which is fantastic because it costs us nothing. But our people that are on the donate bar, they go to PayPal, right?
Yeah, they would, and I think that's kind of
3%.
That's what Carl was hitting at is like, why would the Kevin and Bean offshoot go to Patreon when they can do it themselves? And get, PayPal just takes a regular kind of percentage cut that a lot of the online processing.
Well, I understand the PayPal cut. I don't like it, but
you have to though. They're bank. All of them are banks.
I get it, but why would they choose Patreon over PayPal? What's the advantage of Patreon? I don't even get it.
Well, I'll tell you what. The reason why I'm on Patreon is because it sets up very easily to do a subscription model. So anyone who signs up to the show automatically subscribes monthly, and Patreon takes care of all that for you. People already have an account with Patreon, so they already have their information in there, and they can just sign up for more and more shows as they see fit. And then the other advantage is that they do set up your own RSS. Yeah. So if you sign up for our Patreon, Who Are These Podcasts, whatever podcast player you like to use, you can connect it so that you get all of our bonus episodes right in your regular podcast player. You don't have to go to another app or somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, the bonus episode. That scam, right?
Scam? Our bonus episodes are amazing. Patreon.com/Who Are These Podcasts. There you go.
Is that really that hard to set up, though, the bonus episodes? I mean, couldn't somebody do that without Patreon?
You can, but it's a lot easier.
Sure.
I mean, it depends.
Well, for 13% extra, I hope it is. I hope it's hard to do. Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, so 2,000 people, and Carl was kind of impressed by that, but I was thinking 2,000 people, $3, that's like $6,000 a month for that big-ass show 3 times a week. It just didn't seem that impressive. Right. I even said we could get 2,000 people day one on Patreon. We have never done it. Oh. But I'm just saying, if we put the show behind a paywall in 2016, I believe we would have had more than 2,000 people.
I'll put this in perspective for you so you know where I'm coming from. Stuttering John Melendez from the Howard Stern Show.
Yes.
Just created a Patreon last week. He has 7 patrons on Patreon. So when I see 2,000, I'm like, hey, these guys are doing pretty well. Not bad.
Oh, my goodness. What is the cost of that to be on Stuttering John's?
Oh, Stuttering John ranges from 5 to 20, I think.
Oh, boy. Okay, poor Stuttering John. Are you going to play a Stuttering John clip one of these days on our show? Because his clips are hilarious. Sure. Okay, so Eric Zane, you do the Eric Zane show, and this led me to thinking about, we had a conversation today, Mark and I did, about Free Beer and Hot Wings, which is the show he was fired from in 2015, which is an immensely successful show. Full disclosure, my nephew is Joe, who's the third person in the show, essentially sort of bumped up into Eric's spot, and it's all worked out fantastic. And Joe,
we love you, Joe.
Joe's a phenomenal story. I mean, if you knew where Joey was coming from and where he is now, you go, wow, that is fantastic, and I'm really happy for him. But we can't help talking about the name of the show every time it comes up, and Mark had a great idea. Mark said they should be the show that used to be.
Yeah,
would you say that?
Just be Greg and I can't remember the other guy's name. Greg and let's say Greg and Joe, the show formerly known as Free Beer and Hot Wings.
Yeah,
and then make fun of it and talk about it.
Exactly,
but unless they actually like the name.
Well, which I cannot believe that they like the name, because Free Beer and Hot Wings might sound cool when you're 25, but it starts sounding sillier and sillier. And I keep I think I used to say this to Joe all the time, and I've stopped because I know it probably is annoying as hell. I go, why don't they change the name and just use their names? It's not like the audience is going to go, it's not Free Beer and Hot Wings, I'm not listening anymore.
But everybody, maybe there's a lot of people that don't listen that know that show because of the name.
They would think that's a great name.
So they're going to come to the show because it's still called Free Beer and Hot Wings?
I mean, in typical radio fashion, they could really, string that out over a whole,
that's what I said.
Over a whole book.
No, that could be a lot of fun to call it the show that used to be Free Beer and Hot Wings, and then if let's just say their names don't work out, then you go, we're Free Beer and Hot Wings again.
Yeah.
And who cares? And it's something you laugh about. It's part of your story down the road, and it's not a big deal.
You're missing the obvious corny radio thing to do is to stun it and what name should we be next? And take guesses from the audience, and then they'll be stuck with an equally bad.
There's all that. But, I feel a little weird talking about this
Phone lines
because
are going crazy.
being in a show that still has the name of my deceased partner, Mike Clark. I don't mean to be too hard on them. I just feel like they've got to want to change that name. They have to. They can't like that anymore, can they?
The craziest part about it, and your audience knows about this, but the guy's nicknames are Free Beer, and the other guy's nickname is Hot Wings, which makes it even lamer. I thought it was just a show called Free Beer and Hot Wings. I didn't realize that was the names of the hosts.
Yeah, Greg and Chris.
Wait, they don't call each other like Free and Hot, do they? Don't they call each other by their real name?
They do.
I think they do.
They do?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he has that. He has the one bit what Hot Wings thinks. And I like that. I like that show.
No, I like the show too. Well, of course I like the show. Joe's on it. But, I mean, it's a good show. It's been very successful. They dominate Western Michigan, and they're in 28 or 30 other markets. So it's gone really well for them. But anyway, just a thought. And, Carl, don't start thinking about putting Free Beer and Hot Wings on who are these podcasts.
I've already made a note over here. Uh-oh. Too late.
Anyone can take a cheap shot at their name, but come on.
Once it goes on the calendar, it's hard to erase it. I don't know.
My sister would never forgive me. So anyway, this week we had some ideas. One was Pitbull's podcast, and did you get into Pitbull's content? Did you listen to it?
Yeah, Pitbull has a podcast out. It's called From Negative to Positive Podcast with Pitbull. It's on Podcast One. One of the things that I love about these celebrities that get podcasts, and Drew, I'm sure you appreciate this.
Yes.
Episode 1, sponsored by State Farm, Talkspace, and Pepsi.
You know.
Okay, so Pepsi has sponsored, I think, Pitbull since.
Sure.
They've always been a big spot, but
it could be value added to the Pepsi sponsorship deal.
Yeah. But
which is okay.
State Farm, do they just sponsor every new celebrity podcast that's out there?
Seems that way, doesn't it? I wonder if anybody is really looking at the audience. And I don't know, maybe a lot of people listen to this. First of all, what is it, from negative to positive?
Yeah,
that's worse than Free Beer and Hot Wings by a lot.
Yeah. Apparently, Pitbull's whole story, because he came here from Cuba, is everything in his life was stacked against him, and he turned it all into a positive. And that's the message he's trying to get across.
Now, what's the mechanics of the show? Is he the host? It's just him? There's nobody else with him?
No.
Oh, no, it's him with White Shadow and Jenny V and some DJ who misses every drop. He's supposed to hit drops, and he misses it every time.
Oh, well, that's not that funny.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Carl, I listened to it, and I didn't even realize there were other people, because he had Flo Rida on. And it was
his first guest.
It was pretty much them talking about how great their world is and how incredible it is that they, against all odds, have made it to this wonderful place. And I would have gotten, I did get kind of annoyed listening to it after a while. But anyway, did you bring a clip from those guys?
Yeah, so I bet you noticed that our friend Pitbull can talk. He has no problem talking.
Yes.
So now what you did when you brought me on today, Drew, is you said, we got Carl from WATP. He's going to be on a little bit later, which made it clear that we're not talking to him yet, but he is here in studio. What Pitbull does is he introduces Flo Rida and then talks for 3 minutes before he asks him a question, which makes it really uncomfortable. What I did with the audio here is I sped it up so you have to listen to the entire 3 minutes, but I had to put it all in there so you get a sense for it on my track number 1.
Flow to the rider.
Thanks for having me, my brother. You know, family all day.
Let me tell you, man, it's truly a pleasure. And a lot of people understand that we've been very, very blessed to go from Friday County and everything we've learned down here and take it all around the world. And that has a lot to do with everybody we talk around. It might be a melting pot. You meet a lot of different cultures. And you really see how some of you are, how different you are. And you take that and take it around the world. So I tell a lot of people that tell me, hey, man, so who you really see around the world like that? I know it sounds crazy and it might sound like I'm boasting, but I see Flo right everywhere. In Japan, Mexico, if it's not Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, you name it. So to be able to be here in the Alabama, they was actually to go to one dimension. And then the whole cafeteria got Kevin next to you.
What is he talking about? Is he talking about himself or just how great Flo Rida is?
Oh, he's not talking about Flo Rida at all.
Oh, so it's just how great he is.
But growing up in the same city, coming up to the same folks, I was just spoke to Luke earlier. He opened a lot of doors for everybody down here in Korea.
It sounds like he's
how long does he sped up version last?
It's almost done. I think he's talking about going from negative to positive.
So with that said, you got White Shadow here, the Grammy Award-winning producer, Man of the World. You got Jenny V, she on the road playing the world. And now we can run up to the same way.
Really sure we're not listening to regular speed?
Oh, he's back to the shot. I can hear him.
How does it feel, dog?
Man, it's like so surreal. You know, just
great question.
Here.
After 3 minutes, he goes, "You've had 10 albums out. How does it feel, dog?"
Matt Jennings called him the Dr. Phil nemesis because Phil's such a slow talker.
He does talk really fast. I'm trying to remember. Isn't there? Did you listen to the commercials, Carl?
Of course, yeah.
It seems to me there's some poorly worded commercials. He does them all, and I respect him for doing that. But it seems to me there was some kind of questionable things in the commercials themselves.
Oh, really?
Just not.
I don't
terribly.
remember that, but he was talking about Talkspace, and that's that.
Oh, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Explain Talkspace.
Talkspace is if you want to have a shrink, but you don't want to actually meet someone face to face. You just want to text with somebody. And I was blown away by the promo code was $100 off your first month. I was like, whoa, how expensive is this Talkspace?
Well,
How
Carl,
much off your first month?
It was an ad for therapy.
Yes.
Pretty much, wasn't it? And they were suggesting that, and this therapist will be exactly, they will be selected just for you. Like they just take all your personality characters and boom, here's the right guy. And I thought it was absurd. I mean, it sounded absolutely ridiculous. Have you guys ever heard of it?
No.
Oh, yeah, I've heard it on a lot of true crime podcasts. They'll
Is it
talk
something
about...
you would consider, Brandon, after hearing the ads? If you had a problem?
No, but I mean, I could see that especially the people that maybe are likely to listen to true crime podcasts and get all down after binging 10 episodes about grisly murders and they're all depressed. And then all of a sudden you hear, hey, if you're feeling down, why don't you call these guys? And then,
I just thought it sounded very
I could see it happening.
And very expensive. But anyway, so anything more from Pitbull?
I have a theory about podcast listeners in general, and I know that everybody listening to this is a podcast listener, but a lot of them tend to be lonely people, and that's why they listen to podcasters because they think that they're friends with them. So maybe this isn't necessarily therapy, but it's just like, do you just need a friend to text with? For $500 a month, Talkspace, you can talk to a friend.
Well, $100 off is definitely disconcerting. Anyway, I know that the top podcast of the week was the other half of Call Her Daddy, Sofia F. These two splintered in basically a greed thing, or she says it's a friendship thing. And Alex got off to a booming start with Barstool, and so we've been sitting waiting. Well, I haven't been sitting on pins and needles, but some, their audience is naturally sitting and waiting for Sofia F. to make her move. And so here it is, episode 1, and Carl, take it away.
Yeah, so it's called Sofia with an F. And as you mentioned, it's currently ranked 50th on the Spotify podcast chart. So this has come in with a bang. And of course, Call Her Daddy, huge show on Barstool Sports, still very large with Alex Cooper, like we pointed out a couple of weeks ago when she was interviewing Miley Cyrus. So Sophia's got to tell her side, because if you remember how this all went down, I think we documented this.
Yes.
Dave Portnoy came out and he said, here's the deal. We tried to renegotiate their contracts. We signed them for 3 years. Their show blew up. They wanted more money. We negotiated them getting this amount. They were going to be able to get rights to the show after 3 years. He laid it all out there. He gave him all the terms. And Alex was like, yep, let's do it. This seems like a good deal. Sofia said, no, I think we can do better. So basically, they're like, all right, well, Alex is going to take it. Sofia, you can hit the bricks.
Was it always on Barstool?
No, they had the show out for like 3 or 4 episodes, and then Barstool picked them up.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that part. Yeah. So it sounds to me that Sofia believes that it's all about her and Alex, and Barstool had little to do with their success.
Come on.
Which is, I would find it stunning if that were indeed true.
It ain't all about you, sweetheart.
Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of drama here, which is good for podcasts. And you mentioned 50th. That's probably out of all podcasts, because I did see it was briefly number 1 in our category, the comedy category. And I love celebrity podcasts when they come on and I watch them drop past us. It's the best feeling in the world. And this one, I'm kind of not sure because I don't know this audience very well, but I'm just hoping they go past us. By the way, Justin Long is getting closer to passing us the wrong way. I'm going to be so psyched when that happens because this podcast is terrible. But
well, Drew, you knew that this episode was going to get all the downloads.
Oh, yeah.
She's finally speaking, and Alex has already come out and given her side of the story. So now Sofia gets to come out and tell her side of the story. I want to start off with track 4. Right here, she's explaining how big Call Her Daddy got. And the reason why I want to play this is because listen to how scripted this is.
It got to a point where we couldn't even go outside without getting recognized. Ew. I just sounded so cringy right there.
So what I'm setting up here is she has a whole monologue that she does. It's the first 17 minutes of the show. Oh. And I guarantee this was all written and rehearsed.
Amen.
She probably did multiple takes at it because it sounds acted to me.
You know,
everything about this.
She also sounds just like the other girl.
Wow, yeah.
Well, the way she talks is so annoying. I mean,
it got to a point where we couldn't even go outside without getting recognized. Ew.
It's really awful. I mean, if they don't pass us, I'm gonna give myself a time. I'm setting the egg timer, and if they don't pass us going the wrong way at some point in the next year, it could be the end.
Because if they pass us, you're gonna go.
Ew.
I've got a lot of egg timers on this show.
Yeah, we do. You're right. Okay, what's next?
So I'm talking fast. All right, so she lost everything, and she explains that in track 5.
I lost my best friend, I lost my show, and I lost my career virtually overnight. And not only that, but I became the subject of a very public, very aggressive smear campaign where I was publicly attacked, bullied, and humiliated for months.
Well, why don't you cry about it? Saddlebags?
Oh,
that
my.
sounds so fake.
Now,
guys, the poor popular girl who made a ton of money and is now famous was bullied. Oh,
yeah.
This is
so sad.
The amazing thing that you're pointing out how scripted this is, and it is, and I'm sure we'll hear more evidence of that, is that she accuses her partner of being unable to operate without a script.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be one of the most loosey-goosey girls in their 20s banging guys in New York living the single life show. And the idea that it's scripted is, to me, not good.
Oh, I think it'd be summed up in one word.
Ooh.
I didn't have it cued right. Damn it.
That's pretty good.
Ew.
So she says the other girl is the one that's totally scripted. And we know how scripted Sofia is from listening to her. So how bad can the other one be? She said they could not do a live broadcast. People kept throwing money at them to do live shows, and they couldn't do it because the one girl couldn't do it live because she needs a script.
Well, now we know she's talking about herself.
Am I stealing your thunder, Carl?
No, not at all.
Okay.
So what she does is she goes in and she explains her angle from a business perspective and from a personal perspective because they were actual roommates and friends in real life before this all fell apart.
And I want to first...
Oh, sorry. Was that not the cue?
It wasn't, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you being all over that. So she starts off by talking about this from a business perspective.
Wait, that's the cue?
All right, track 7.
That's what you said last time.
All right.
Now, to everyone listening, I want to ask you a question, and let's really put our thinking caps on. If a man walked into his boss's office requesting to be fairly compensated, would he be labeled as greedy? Really chew on that for a second.
She's really leaning into playing the gender card here and acting like she's a victim because she's a woman. Now, the problem with that is she asked for more money, and Dave Portnoy said, sure.
Yeah.
We're willing to renegotiate this, and actually gave her a bigger percentage of the merchandise, rights to the show, like all sorts of concessions because she renegotiated. And then she goes, oh, if a man had renegotiated this, they would have just given him everything he wanted. Like, no, that's how negotiations work.
Okay, I want to add,
make a little.
I'd like to add this to that, is that the idea that they were bitches because they were women asking for money, no one said that till they started saying that about each other. Nobody was coming out going, oh my God, can you believe the Caller Daddy girls are asking for... No, all I ever heard about that show was how successful it was. And the other problem with the sexism complaint is that this is a show that talks about sucking dicks and fucking guys. And I mean, aren't they playing everything in the female card to get success, basically?
In fact, play track 6 as this speaks to that.
And I want to first start with business, which I know as a woman, it is not my place to talk about business, but if you will please allow me to.
If your public persona is being a skank,
yes,
it has nothing to do with you being a woman. That's not the problem here.
Just the way she said it was really cunty.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is you can't have it both ways. You can't use all your feminine wiles and spilling your sex life and all these intimate things that will obviously draw people to the show, and then claim that, you know, you're being treated as a sexist when you negotiate, when it honestly sounds like it wasn't that way at all. In fact, Barstool, didn't they offer them $500,000 guaranteed?
Yes.
That's a pretty good deal.
Very good money for a podcaster.
Because I believe it was 3 years was the offer.
No, they signed a 3-year deal. That's the crazy part. They were under contract. Barstool didn't have to do anything. They were obligated to put out a show.
Oh, no kidding. They had a 3-year deal.
Yes, they had a deal in place that they then went in and said, we want to renegotiate.
Okay, well, here's the thing about that is this, I believe this product has a shelf life, and I believe having a guarantee over time is a really good thing for this type of show. And I'm not saying they can't evolve and do better, but I just feel like it really has a shelf life. Just saying.
Yeah, I'd rather multi-year.
Yeah, I would if I were advising them.
Carl, after listening to both podcasts, is there one that you would rather listen to? You have to pick one. Is there one you'd rather listen to?
I like that you did that because both of these are terrible. I think that I got to figure out what Sofia's going to do with this show.
Okay.
Because she says, and we'll play a clip later on where she talks about what she's going to turn this show into. And she says, well, it's not going to just be about sex, guys. We're going to talk to my friends and family. And I'm like, that's not going to be good.
There go the downloads.
If you're not talking about sucking dicks.
Maybe.
No, now, what about like aesthetically, the sound of it? I mean, is there one you prefer over the other?
The show sounds pretty good.
Sounds
it's well
okay.
produced.
It just sounds phony, though. She sounds fake.
Well, that's her problem.
Yeah.
It's nobody else's fault, in my opinion.
So, guess whose fault it is, actually, Drew? Play track 8.
Okay.
Because let me tell you something. Society and men and those that bow down to them will try to convince you that you are being crazy and that you are being greedy. Fuck them.
So it's the patriarchy's fault is the reason why. Not because she made a bad business decision and lost everything. It's the patriarchy.
I don't take no orders from no woman, by the way.
How do you sign? Okay, she's going to claim that their revenues are $10 million, which is plausible. I believe that. As many downloads as they have, that's very possible. She's going to claim that they were only paid 4% of the $10 million, which would be $400,000, which honestly, as a percentage, no, that's not terribly good. But I suspect that Barstool had a whole lot to do with their success. And also, they signed a 3-year deal. Barstool gambled on them when they weren't worth money. Because how much revenue did they have when Barstool signed them?
Sounds
not
a
much.
lot like Taylor Swift not being able to buy her own masters. You know, because the record label puts forth money and does all the work for you to get your album out there.
If they were making, they do one show a week, right? Or they did?
Yeah, right.
Okay, if they were making $40,000, which I wrongly thought when I first did 4% of $10 million, then I redid the math and I went, no, that's $400,000. That's not bad. And under the circumstances, it's, I think it's fair in light that Barstool took a big gamble. But that doesn't mean it's not okay to go in and ask for a renegotiation. And in fact, Barstool came through for them.
That's the incredible part.
It is. So anyway, take it away, Carl. I'm sorry.
Right. Barstool's the one who's making the risk in the beginning. Once you're a well-known entity, and she even says the talent should be making 80% of the revenue. I was like, well, okay, honey, maybe if you're Howard Stern, you can demand that kind of money. But right now, no one knows who Sofia Franklin is. Even if you ask people who listen to Call Her Daddy, name rings a bell.
I'm not sure if you added all our salaries up that would be 80% of our total, to be honest.
For this podcast?
For this podcast.
No, there's overhead and
yeah. No, I don't know where she's getting that number. She's talking out of her ass.
She is, because it's probably that HBO executive boyfriend who's telling her that. Because it's very different in the world where advertising is what drives it, not subscriptions. You have a whole sales team. The fact that they're actually selling advertising for them, she can't make that money on her own, even with 10 million listeners or however many people are listening to the show.
No, she probably doesn't have the contacts.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a sellable thing. Anyway, I'm sorry. Move ahead, Carl.
So then she transitions to the personal stuff with her and Alex Cooper, and she goes right for the guilt trip. This is brutal, track 9.
You were my best friend. You knew what I went through with depression. You knew what I went through with mental health. And you enabled an enormous media conglomerate to completely destroy my life.
Slut.
That was the first thing. This is why women are not good at being friends with each other. That was the first thing she said. You know, I struggle with depression, and you went after me like this. Like, we tried to sign a deal together, and you were being difficult. So I decided to do it without.
Do you need mental help?
This is what I hate about it, though. I mean, I don't know what her mental health background is, but just hearing it in that context, I just want to say it's fake. And that she's
I question it
at
too.
the very least exaggerating it.
Well, she's really hot. She has hot privilege, if you will.
Yeah.
She has a lot going for her. She's making a shit ton of money. She's
made
young, living
a
in New
bad
York.
business decision and looks like a fucking fool. Period. End of story.
Yeah. Now she looks like a fool.
Yeah.
Not then though. Then they really were doing okay. I understand breaking into the deal, but now, yeah, she looks. And I don't know what she's making now. I don't know what they're paying her. Maybe you found that out, Carl.
I have no idea.
Okay.
We'll see if the show works out.
Hope it's 80%.
Yeah.
You guys don't pass them.
Please. Oh God, I hope they pass us.
What's great is that Alex did all of this to Sofia, but it would not have happened the other way around, track 10.
If the roles are reversed, and I have thought about this a million times, I could have never done that to you. Ever.
That's really easy to say, isn't it?
Yes.
If I had the opportunity to screw you over, I wouldn't have.
Yeah,
well,
bullshit.
you didn't,
Yeah.
so we don't know. We don't know the answer to that.
Wow.
Anyone can say that.
Alex is the one that rolled the dice and went out and did a show on her own. Sofia she's the rear. She's picking up the rear and saying, well, here I am now, and here's my story. But honestly, I give Alex credit for having the balls to go out and do it on her own. And she's doing pretty well.
That's the idea to do the show in the first place, too. And that's the thing that Sofia doesn't mention. She talks about how she's definitely the more talented of the two. And this is what you were talking about earlier, do track 11.
Why couldn't we do a live show? Why couldn't we do video? Because you read off of a script. Are we all seeing the delusion now?
No.
She's reading off the script.
I was just going to say, isn't every clip that you've played sounds, well, like you mentioned, sounds rehearsed, recorded.
Absolutely.
Written out.
And also, Alex is interviewing Miley Cyrus. I don't think that interview was scripted. Judging by how poor an interview it was, I really don't think it was scripted.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, Sofia might be onto something because that interview was terrible.
It was awful.
Wow, that's fascinating.
I mean, isn't it amazing what two hot girls can do talking into microphones? Isn't it? I mean, how low the bar is if they talk about the right thing?
No one else is doing it.
No, there's actually a lot of shows doing this. I was just looking at Podcast One. Have you seen the lineup on Podcast One? How many podcasts they have on there?
Do they have a bunch of skanky chicks talking about that?
It looks like it. I'm just looking at the label. I'm just judging the book by its cover, but man, it sure didn't look like it.
I mean, I know there's Guys We Fucked and stuff like
that.
Yeah,
Guys We Fucked, which passed us, by the way.
They
went past us the other way. Where we we passed it. No,
and past us the other way.
Yeah, Guys We Fucked.
Well, in that case,
that was the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was in the top 5 all the time, and it's slowly people. I don't know if they ran out of people to fuck, or they ran out of people to talk about that they fucked, or what happened. It just has lost its allure, and it's it still does well. It's still a good podcast numbers wise, but it's below us. So
I think Sofia would have been better if she used this attack.
I haven't gobbled 1,000 cocks like you think I have. I was trying to impress you.
That would be one way to go.
Sofia even mentions on the new show she might bring on ex-boyfriend, so I think she's going for the Guys We Fucked.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see how long that lasts for. You can only have so many of those.
It's not a bad idea, though.
No, that's okay. Not bad.
All right, so the last clip I want to play, this is her triumphant victory lap where she's doing an ad read. And you're going to love the promo code.
So, to start your free deliveries, download the app and use the code. And you guys, this code should be very easy to remember. Sofia100. As in, I own 100% of my show.
Stupid chicks really put out.
She owns 100% of the show that's worth 96% less than Call Her Daddy. Congratulations.
I own 100% of my show too, Sophia.
Oh, really?
I guess so. Well, who else owns it? I mean, doesn't
I just wanted to play that drop.
Carl, do you own 100% of your show?
Yeah, and use the promo code Carl100 at my bookie.
I mean, I don't think owning 100% of a podcast is really that unusual.
No, I'd rather be on Barstool Sports, to be honest with you. I think that'd be a better gig.
Yes.
Amen.
You got it. Okay. Did you have any additional cuts, Carl?
No, that's all I got for Sophia with an F.
Hey, hot Carl.
I meant like Stuttering John or otherwise.
Stuttering John has been doing this fascinating thing where his apartment is getting gross. And I think what happened was he was storing a bunch of his stuff at his buddy's place and his ex-wife's place. And they've told him he has to bring it all back in. So I've noticed over the last couple of months that boxes have started piling up in the background of the show, which is hilarious because all of a sudden he decided to get a green screen in. So now he pretends to be, and it's not even like a studio. Like usually if you have a green screen, you can go one of two ways. You could have like a really cool looking studio. Maybe it's overlooking Manhattan skyline, or you could have something that's kind of a goof. That's obviously a joke. Mm-hmm. He goes the opposite way. He has just like a living room, just a nice looking living room with a piano in the background. All of his guests come on and they go, "Oh, John, that's a really nice house." He's like, "Oh, well, yeah, it's actually a green screen." But the best part about it, the reason why he does it is because he has a cockroach problem. He's getting a cockroach infestation.
Ew.
And we've been looking at this over the last month and a half. When he first got freaked out by a cockroach while he was live on his show, he's like, "Whoa, what's that?" Oh. Ever since then, people have been asking him questions about cockroaches in his house. And he keeps lying about it and saying, "Yeah, the exterminator came over and he said there's no problem." So he just laughed. Like, what exterminator would ever say, if you have cockroaches in your house, you're going to need help. They don't just go away.
What a liar.
No, and you don't call an exterminator either. Probably.
Idiot.
I said, "Hey, Carl, stop ignoring me."
Yes,
I'm going to do my own podcast with Brandon. We are going to kill it and gyrate so many bitches.
I wonder if Hawk loan 100%. Hawk 100 would be
you
the
can
promo
rip
code?
on it later.
All right.
So people keep trolling him and asking him about his cockroaches. He goes, "No, I think we're all set. I haven't seen one in a long time," because he takes the chats of people coming in. People give him $5. He has to read the question.
Oh yeah.
God.
And he's slipped up a few times and said certain things. So tell me if you guys can hear my board here. This is him when a cat jumps into his lap.
Like, he'll stay here as long as I pet him. That's Magneto. But this is the cockroach killer. This is no mouse is coming in. This is a feral cat.
So he calls his cat the cockroach killer, and then goes, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. I mean, it's a great mouser. This cat will take care of any mice that come in."
What a stupid lie that he now has to keep track of.
Oh boy, how grim too. And that show
that
sounds like.
Is he broke? Is he not?
I think he is. Carl?
He's definitely broke.
But come on, he would have made a lot of money. Maybe not on Stern.
Oh, he made a lot of money.
So where did it go?
He got a divorce.
Oh.
But that doesn't account for everything. I mean, his show sounds like shit. He can't afford a decent sounding pot. Is it really that expensive to sound
True.
okay?
He only has 7 Patreon members. What do you want him to do, man?
Aren't you surprised
Hard to believe your marriage isn't working out.
Isn't it amazing to hear ads on his show? Who does advertise on that show?
State Farm.
Speedweed. He's got an ad. So this guy out in L.A. delivers marijuana to you. It's called Speedweed, and that's his advertiser. But it's all in trade.
I was going to say, it sounds like a barter.
Is that it? Are there any others?
He has another advertiser. This is the funniest thing. It's his buddy who's trying to sell his house. Oh, and he's like, "Oh, it's like a specific address in L.A. somewhere." Oh. And he'll show you the video of it and stuff. Like, this is a podcast. What are you doing?
You gotta be kidding me.
It makes me sad in a way.
I know it is really distressing.
All right, real quick, guys. This is the payoff here.
Okay.
So I've been following this cockroach saga, and just this past week, he slipped up again. He's in hour 3 of his show, so he's getting a little delirious. And he says, "You should change up your background," because he's had that same silly living room background. And listen closely to what he says here.
Ian Harrison, John, take a COVID vacation, a.k.a. change your background. You want me to change my background? Okay. Oh, I just heard something. Hope it's not a cockroach. Okay, I'm gonna change my background. Let's see what I can do.
Do you know he caught himself right there? I heard that. Hope it's not a cockroach. Yeah, I'll change my background. Yep, here we go.
You would think you'd start playing up the cockroach angle at this point.
Yeah, might as well just own it.
Just put the cockroaches on the broadcast, and maybe he'd get barter with an exterminator.
Carl, he doesn't have like the boner pills advertisers, or I mean the ones that go on so many shows. No,
he doesn't have listeners. The only people who listen to the show are trolls who are making fun of him, so it's really hard to get advertisers.
Wow. Because he still is the guy from The Tonight Show and The Howard Stern Show. How can you...
Well, he burned so many bridges with Howard.
He's just not really terribly
How many times do you think he hit Leno up for something? Like some...
I know, I'd love to know that. All right, Carl, are we all wrapped? Got our cuts in?
Buddy.
Okay, man. Great stuff. Who's on Who Are These Podcasts this week?
So as you mentioned, our current episode out right now is the Eric Zane Show podcast, former Free Beer and Hot Wings host. So there might be some listeners who know Eric Zane. You can check that out. And then this weekend coming up, we're going to be reviewing Scorch's Sloppy Seconds OD. You guys know who Scorch is?
No. Great radio name, though. I love it. Scorch!
Scorch has been around.
Scott Storch?
No,
He's now
Scorch!
on 92.9 The X, which is in Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Sounds like a flamethrower!
In Eau Claire, Wisconsin?
I looked it up. It's the 129th ranked radio market, and he's doing a morning show.
And he does a weekly. He does a weekly segment with Mr. Skin that he just did today.
He did?
Oh.
Really? Sounds scorching. Wow, I'm intrigued, Carl. Have you listened to the show yet?
I have, and it's one of these really funny shows where you can tell that it's 4 hours of just playing music and commercials and traffic and weather, because when he breaks it down for the podcast, it's about 17 minutes.
Oh, my God.
And it's just resetting the same thing over and over again. So he'll bring up a segment, and then he'll get to the next part, and he just submits it again. You're like, oh, you just reset that exactly.
So I don't think I'd be a fan of the show. I'm just looking at his promo picture. Drew, you want to see his promo picture there?
Scorch!
My NDI isn't working, so I can't show you guys.
Not quite as scorching a dude as I thought he would be.
But
I saw big, long hair.
He's got he's bald. He's got a beard and just a really loud green Hawaiian shirt. And he's got both hands up like, hey! But he's got the latest from Scorch, and what drives me nuts is everything has minimally 2 exclamation points after it. Some have 4 exclamations, some have 3.
His name is Scorch.
So he's like, Foo Fighters out with Jimmy Kimmel. 2 exclamation points. Let's see, what got 3 exclamation? Oh, this one got 2 question marks.
Exclamation point.
This is topic. Fall! What do you like about it? 2 exclamation points.
What?
And then here's, get your AC/DC coins. 4 exclamation points.
Whew. Well, I'm looking forward to it, Carl. I love it when you do radio, I have to admit.
It's been fun. It's been fun this month. We'll keep doing it through the rest of October.
Okay, Who Are These Podcasts on all your platforms? Thank you, Carl.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
See you, brother.
Okay.
So, Carl totally ignored me.
I know. I'm sorry about that, Hawk.
What a dick.
Poor
No
Hawk.
bills.
He was kind of a dick about it, really. A little surprised by that.
You can't blow off a Hawk. I mean,
no. And I thought Hawk was really trying to open the door there to something.
Like him not even here.
like I'm not even here.
You know, and in his situation, you know, as a guy who has a handicap and has a disease, you would think that it's politically incorrect to not befriend Hawk.
You know, I guess I'll wheel myself out.
I think we now have our first Hawk war. Hawk and Carl are officially at war. I love the idea of Hawk going after people.
Hawk v. Carl.
Fuck Carl.
Absolutely.
One's British, one's German. What do you expect? I mean, it's like oil and water.
It's inexcusable. No, Hawk has every right to attack Carl. And Carl's a guy that attacks other people. So I think I don't know, isn't he it's his comeuppance maybe?
Yeah. Prepare yourself, Hawk.
Hawk is not a guy you want to be on his bad side.
No. Mm-mm.
Because once he sets all the gyrations aside, Hawk is incredible. I mean, he's one of the smartest people in the world.
Plus, nobody knows how fast that chair moves.
Oh, yeah. No, he's Hot Wheels. It's one of his nicknames.
I'll do another show called Who Are These Porn Stars That's Way Better Than Carl's.
What are you going to review? Pornhub clips? I guess is that what you're?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense, Hawk. Yeah.
And of course, they know if they're being reviewed to have plenty of
You'll
generation.
listen.
I would listen.
I would
to
listen.
Hawk.
I would absolutely.
I kind of think we should actually do it now, Brandon.
It's a great idea.
Audible gyrating.
That could be a very big show on the network.
Could be really funny.
Kind of psyched. What to think about that? Wow. One of the things I didn't get to talk to Carl about this, but one of the things he mentions on the new Who Are These podcasts about Eric Zane, and I'm not trying to pile on Eric. I know Eric, and it's probably Eric. It's funny that Eric had Carl on. Eric's using it as a promotional vehicle.
Sure,
If he can get
smart.
it's very smart, and he took the joke well. So to his credit, I think he handled it as well as you can handle something like that. But what Eric does, and what I hear a lot of radio people do, is, or who do podcasts, is they take the radio-isms that don't belong in podcasts.
And Zane admitted that. Yeah, I probably should stop doing that.
Did he?
I think he pretty much admitted that.
I didn't hear Carl on there today.
Yeah, and it was actually a pretty good conversation. Now I will be on Zane's side with this because Andy, Carl's partner for that episode, pointed out a few things. And I'm like, and Eric actually pointed out, he's like, yeah, this is a local radio show doing a podcast, because there was some criticism about his advertisers being too local.
No, that was stupid. That was crazy. Carl should have edited that out. Hawk should be all over him for that.
Well, Carl kind of, I think, pushed back on that a little bit. I mean, if that's where your listeners are, why wouldn't you want to target advertising to those people?
No, it makes total sense. If we could have national ads on this show, which honestly I think we should.
Yeah, we're State Farm.
Honestly, that's really, if we were part of Barstool, for example, we probably would, because combined with 3 other shows, you could say there's this many downloads, and Barstool is well known, so they probably have all the connections. Whereas our sales staff knows those people, but I think separately out on our own, it's probably hard to get on those pods.
I texted Carl too, because I just wrote, I'm listening to the show, and ouch, we used to do best ofs, because he was ragging Zane for doing a best of episode.
Yeah.
And then Carl just wrote back, at least you learned not to do them. But the reason we did them was to keep
you losers
continuity of every single day. There's something being there to download.
Yeah, that was
part of it.
I heard the same conversation, and I understood what he was saying, that it's a podcast. You can listen to any podcast anytime you want. But the fact of the matter is, if you are doing a daily podcast, like a radio show, there are similarities to radio. And in fact, people may use that show as almost a lifeline. And so when the weekend comes along, a lot of people are happy to have something else downloaded new, like segments of different shows thrown together that you might not have heard.
Yeah.
So, I will stand up for Eric on that one.
I know.
But I understood
Work with me here.
I understood what he was saying also, that it does seem silly to direct people to listen to certain things at certain times, because, it is a podcast. You can listen whenever the hell you want.
I feel like Hawk is workshopping something.
I said, work with me here.
Okay. What do you got an
How
idea?
about this name? 3 bitches and hot women.
I don't know, Hawk. Do you want
I have a couple strip clubs interested in advertising for you guys.
Wait, Hawk, are you going to be free bitches? Because if you're free bitches, then you're going to have to get a partner to be hot women. Is that what it was? Free bitches and hot women? I don't know which one you're going to be.
Well, Hawk absorbs them all.
Shut up, Mark.
I'm just workshopping it. I'm trying to help.
I love the idea of creating enemies for Hawk to go after.
He's really kind of on the warpath.
Mark is a dick too.
See, I don't know what I did.
I think Carl was really dismissive. I mean, that was, I've heard slights on the show before, but that was really brutal. That was just brutal.
I know. It's almost like there was a problem with Zoom, but then again, Hawk just comes down from,
he heard Brandon okay.
From space.
I think it was an intentional, I hate to say this because I like Carl, but I think he snubbed Hawk intentionally. I don't know why. I really don't.
Sorry, Mark.
It's okay, Hawk.
I haven't been gyrated in months, and I'm grumpy.
He's all backed up.
Farting in the mosh pits of morning radio.
And now the show is over now.